Hey everyone, welcome to the 4th episode of the Neon Crew podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Mac.
And we got a special guest today.
Woo woo.
Special guest, do you want to introduce yourself? Well, thanks for coming on.
This was fun.
Just
hey, we'll see you later.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Gideon.
Hey Gideon, how you doing?
I'm great. How you doing, Mac?
I'm good. I'm a little sweaty. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of stink. Football practice ran a little longer than I'd like it to, so.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything about the smell, but.
Oh, dude, it's even at work.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get a whiff of yourself, like just hot day? Kind of walking around and all of a sudden you're like, man, someone farted, and then you sit down and look around. You're like, I'm the only guy here.
Sometimes.
Not a fart.
No.
But there's good BO and there's bad BO. There's BO that I was doing physical work, and then there's BO where I haven't showered in 3 days.
See, that's
big difference.
I'm in between. Like that's the problem. Both scents I can live with. The one in between is the one where it's like, this is just bad.
I feel like where I work, there's so many different smells going on that I hardly notice myself.
Oh, yeah.
Because like I'll sweat profusely, but instead of smelling myself, I'll smell like rotten watermelon or something.
What are you guys talking about? We smell great, actually. You guys smell wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And the nice thing is they're listening with their ears and not their noses. So you know.
Well, this is we want to be notified as a good smelling group of people.
Mm-hmm. I want everybody to know that this podcast is run by people who smell good.
Well, it's funny too because I've heard a lot of people judge podcasts on the way they smell or how the vibe of the smell goes, not the actual content. So
yeah,
we could start a track list.
Yeah,
like the best smelling podcast hosts. And
maybe that's next week's list. Like we'll just do best scents,
top scents,
top movies,
top
that
candle
look
smells.
like they'd smell good.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Actually.
I feel like Chef with John Favreau would be up there.
Oh my God! Or The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. That looks like an Old Spice commercial.
Oh yeah,
It
I don't doubt
looked
it.
like one too.
I bet like that chocolate movie. That looks like it would
Johnny
smell.
Depp?
Yeah, it would just smell
Yeah.
like wine.
You talking about
wine and chocolate, right?
Chocolat.
Chocolate.
Oh
yeah.
I thought you were talking about Willy Wonka.
No, not that chocolate Johnny Depp movie. The other one.
I think my grandma owned that film, and the VHS cover was like Johnny Depp whispering into the chick's ear, and she was kind of looking off to the side. And I always remember thinking, like, dude, that guy looks so cool. Like to be able to walk up to a chick and have her just be like, yeah, that does sound all right.
Johnny Depp has that effect. Apparently,
this was '90s Depp too, so like he didn't hit the weird scarf phase, and
he's
Pirates hadn't turned him out yet.
He wasn't in like a bunch of cologne commercials yet.
Yeah, and there wasn't the Me Too rally for him.
Yeah, R.I.P. Hopefully he'll come back swinging.
Yeah, he's done all right. So here we are.
Yeah, so I figured that because a little inside information, I was on vacation, so I didn't exactly have the time or ability to watch the movie that was recommended, So Lovingly by Mac. So I figured the next best thing, we could just go over our top A24 lists that we've each made. Kind of the reason why I wanted Gideon on the podcast today was because that's something that we did in the past between us as like a friend group. We made an A24 list because we were just curious as to like what our each lists look like.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's a pretty good idea and would, I think, make an interesting topic to talk about on the show. So
For sure. I mean, like, you text me and you said, hey, let's do this. And I was like, well, I mean, I like A24 and I like Gideon. So this sounds like a nice cake that we're about to make.
Hey, and I wanted to come on because I like A24.
I like the fact that you're wearing your A24 hat. I thought about wearing mine, but
I was really hoping actually you didn't say that. I probably shouldn't have worn my hat because I don't want to be known as one. Like, I'm not going to be an A24.
You're such a fanboy.
No, see,
yeah, this is
I don't want to be known like there's there's A24 fanboys.
Yep.
There's like people who are just obsessed with a specific director, and then they can only
that's it.
like worship every single movie and you can't even talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not like that because they make.
Well, we'll find out. If his list runs over 30, I'm going to have to judge him.
Oh, it does not. It does not. It is less than 20. It was less than 20. So
there you go. Yeah, insider information. A little birdie told me that Gideon shows up to local podcasts, whoever talk about A24. So we're still waiting to see if fanboy's really true or not.
I figured A24 would be a good subject to make a list for because they've kind of like made an image for themselves as far as the type of movies that they put out. They're typically more known for being a little experimental, putting out movies and distributing movies that are more like along the indie side, kind of would fly under the radar had A24 not distributed them or like produced them. So I figured it'd be a good list to go over because they're pretty consistent with the quality of their movies, even though some movies that they put out, I know for a fact, aren't the best received.
Yeah, I would say that they're consistently stretching like the limits or consistently doing strange movies because they do have a lot of stinkers. You know, they have movies that they put out. Like you can go to their website and if you look through their movies, I bet you every 5 movies you'll know one. And you're like, I've never heard of these other 4. It's like they just tanked.
Yeah. I went to getting ready for the list. I went to Wikipedia, because that's where we find common knowledge, and they have like over 100 films. It's crazy, and I'm not gonna say the ones that I haven't heard of because I think I went through and like on IMDb, I added probably 20 films just from reading the little synopsis on there. I was like, this sounds interesting, and I like the production house, so. I think what they do, I think they hit the right market, and the people that the movie's targeted to is well received. Like Uncut Gems, and that might be talked about later, was probably one of the more broadband movies where it's like, all right, we got to hit a larger demographic with this than other films that they put out. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I haven't thought about how many A24 films I've seen, and I didn't know some of the movies that I've seen were A24, so that was kind of cool going through that.
It's funny going back and looking at the list and realizing you'd seen a movie 6 years ago and it was A24, but before the whole culture blew up. But yeah, there's definitely people I know. Like I know a few people that I've talked to them, and their opinion is I don't like A24 movies. They're movies that are really boring, and then there's like a weird twist kind of in it sometimes, and then it ends on like a subtle note, and I'm like, well, I mean, you're not wrong sometimes, but
and that I think those are the movies though that are hit more mainstream. Like they had a movie that's on Netflix right now that I want to check out. It's called The Bling Ring, I think it's called.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, but let's go. Here. How about?
I'm excited to hear some of the, because there's gonna be movies that I added where I'm like, I want to hear what you guys have to say because I still have to see it.
Is this a good opportunity to kind of get into one of our lists right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can explain how you think you wanted to go about it.
Yeah. So I figured each person would go through their list individually. Like one person would just start off, read their entire list, and then the other 2 people can sort of react to it, kind of give their comments on that person's list, say, oh, I didn't expect you to put this movie in this particular spot, or oh, I have a movie that's in a similar spot on my list, and it's interesting that you have like a same viewpoint on it. And I just wanted it to mostly gauge our own individual tastes, how we're either different or similar to each other in terms of the movies that we pick in like our top spots. Because I think despite the fact that we all appreciate A24 and the movies that they put out, most of like a good portion of them anyway, I think there's still enough differences in there for us to like kind of delve into and sort of talk about and discuss. So if you wanted to go first, Gideon, I can.
Sure. Well, I actually, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, so I have a fun list that I'm curious about because I think we could also add movies to it. I want to save that one for the end because I think that will be a good one where all 3 of us can kind of see where, if we want to move something around, if we disagree or agree.
That's true.
So I was going to say, I don't know if I can go in the middle and go last. I just wanted to save that one for the end.
Well, what I think would be kind of, we can save the fun one for the end, but I actually think what might be beneficial too is, you can tell me what you think is, I think I'll read my list and then like Kyle will read his list and then you'll read your list. So right off the bat, everyone knows what each other's list is.
Oh, sure.
And then we'll go back to me and then kind of start dissecting.
Okay.
Only just because like it'd be interesting to hear your opinion because I have no idea what your list is, Mac.
I don't even
so
know
like
what you guys do either.
I almost want to know your list before you start critiquing mine.
Start like judging
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like getting judged on what you're wearing by a person on the other side of a phone.
In this position now, there's pole position, right? Is that the first or the last guy to go? Because I'm sitting there like, maybe it's better to be the last guy to go to see like, all right, I don't know if I should have that.
All
one.
right.
Well, there's more of a mystery between you and me and Gideon versus me and Gideon because
I agree 100%.
I know some of the things on his list. He knows some of the things on mine, but neither of us know what your list is.
I have no idea.
So why don't you guys, Gideon, you go first, you go second, I'll go third, then we can dissect, we'll look at it,
All
say
right.
why,
Okay.
what we're doing, and then
Here.
have a little fun.
I will preface this by saying some of these movies I've seen many, many times, and some of these movies I've seen once.
Yep.
And so, you know, maybe on a rewatch it'll change and whatnot. But okay, I'm just gonna go. I have 18 movies from the top, my most favorite to my least favorite.
Okay.
I have Swiss Army Man as 1, 2 Green Room, 3 The Witch, 4 Hereditary, 5 Enemy, 6 Ex Machina, 7 Lady Bird, 8 Moonlight, 9 The Lighthouse, 10 8th Grade, 11 The Florida Project, 12 Midsommar, 13 The Green Knight, 14 Mid-90s, 15 Uncut Gems, 16 First Cow, 17 The Bling Ring, and 18 for a winning the last is Spring Breakers.
Oh, okay.
And I will leave my phone here, so if anyone wants to look at my list when we start dissecting, they're more than welcome to.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I think, let's just all set down our phones after we read them off, because I'm still holding this close to the chest.
Boy, if this was a video podcast, people would have loved Mac's reaction to number 15 being Uncut Gems.
Yeah, you were waiting for it.
I looked up at you and the face you made.
That was the biggest dispute when we first went over our list.
Oh, and I don't want to hop into that yet, but just general reaction. I was like sitting there as you're reading them off. I think you probably got like 5-6 movies in there that I haven't. It's funny because I haven't seen them, but I added them.
Added to your list because you wanted to see them. Yeah.
First Cow was one of them. Like that was a little lower down the list. I was like, yeah, I remember I added that. I can't quite remember the synopsis on it, but yeah, no, that's why. And then I kind of forgot Uncut Gems was like not said.
You were just passively waiting for it.
Well, no, I was just sitting there. I was just like, yep, gotta see that. Uncut Gems. Like, what?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So I'll read my list now.
Yep.
So number 1 is Green Room. Number 2 is The Lighthouse. Number 3 is Uncut Gems. Number 4 is Hereditary. Number 5 is Saint Maud. Number 6 is Swiss Army Man. Number 7 is Good Time. Number 8 is The Witch. 9 is The Florida Project. 10 is Lady Bird. 11 is Enemy. 12 is Ex Machina. 13 is The Killing of a Sacred Deer. 14 is Moonlight. 15 is The Green Knight. 16 is Under the Silver Lake. 17 is Midsommar. 18 is First Cow. And 19 is First Reformed.
Oh, that's Ethan Hawke, right?
Yep.
That's a bizarre one that I got added to the list, but I don't know how anxious I am to see that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And now Mac will give his list.
Yeah, and it's... Yeah, okay. So we'll get into it after this. So let's just read the list and then we'll get into it. So I'm just trying to do in my head like some of the crossover and where things fall at. So number 1 for me, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Number 2, Uncut Gems. 3, Green Room. 4, Hereditary, which, by the way, I think we all had at 4.
Yeah, we did.
We do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's awesome.
4, Hereditary. 5, Locke. 6, Mississippi Grind. 7, Saint Maud. 8, Good Time. 9, Midsommar. 10, Ex Machina. 11, Tusk. 12, Moonlight. 13, Slow West. 14, The Witch. 15, Room. And 16, Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers last, right?
Oh, man.
I heard
Hell
that.
yeah.
When you said that, I did a subtle nod. I was
You're
like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I
Like
had
that
that
movie
down
was
there too.
trash.
Dude.
I thought about watching Spring Breakers in preparation for this episode. but I kind of want to like save it for a future episode, maybe, just so I can talk about it more.
It is, and I don't want to hop into it or shit on it too much, but like,
you can say whatever you want. It's on the bottom of my list.
I mean, you're right. You're right, and you haven't seen it yet, so we're good. No, I don't want to. It's just like a series of vignettes, and like, who did who directed it? Harmony Korine. Harmony Korine's the one that directed Spring Breakers. And, it's just kind of, it's depicting some of that, the college lifestyle,
yeah.
No one cares what we do.
It's got Selena Gomez in it, and Vanessa Hudgens, I think, too.
James Franco.
Yeah, playing, and that guy, Alien, I think was his name in the film. It's actually based on a real dude from, that he did a little character study on in Florida. So it's, I don't know. I saw it and I just was like, ugh.
Yeah.
The music, it kind of screams at you, but then it's just, dude, you might like it. I mean,
yeah, okay, I don't have to talk about it just because Kyle hasn't seen it. Yeah. But yeah, it's more or less the same thing. It's like you're just watching some party goers for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
And it's, I don't know. I don't want to say I always say it's not hard to follow. It's just one of those things when you kind of fall out of it. There's maybe an event that happens, I think, that I kind of missed or didn't pick up the importance of it that shaped the rest of the movie. And you figure it out, but it's still like, okay, like, really, this is where it's going. So I don't know. I wasn't obviously a fan of it because of 16 on the list. Spring Breakers, Harmony Korine.
Okay.
Sucked. On to the next.
Okay, so this is, I'm just going to start interjecting because this is going to be like
this is pretty
popcorn.
Freeform.
Yeah. Now, hey,
okay. Before you guys
there.
ridicule me about Uncut Gems because I don't have a defense yet,
ooh,
I would like to start by saying you put The Witch very far down on your list, and I'm curious why. Because that, in my opinion, is like one of the best horror movies I've ever seen.
Was that your third one?
It was my third. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that was the first face I actually made.
Yeah, I totally understand too. Like, they use old English and it's not jump scare. It's very kind of a slow burn and it's like creepy. So it's not a scary movie in a sense where there's not a monster that's jumping out. So I can see that if you're not used to that.
They play into how I felt about it. One, you got to understand, I'm like a movie-going experience guy too. So even if I watch it in the basement with my friends, like I'll remember like, oh, that was a fun movie, even if it sucked.
Yeah.
I was at Ferris, was working on my master's, and we had a chick that took over someone's lease for the last 3 months, and I was going to watch this by myself, and she's like, hey, you mind if I watch this with you? And I was like, sure. She's, what's it called? And I was like, that's The Witch. I was like, it's supposed to be kind of creepy. Oh, I'll hop in. And like throughout the whole film, on the phone, getting up, moving around. You could tell she wasn't into it, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, then why are you watching this? Because you're taking it away from me. And I didn't have subtitles on either. So trying to pick it up on like a low quality we had like a 65-inch big screen, but it might as well have been a tube big screen. Mm-hmm. So like the audio output on it. So like I didn't know some of the dialogue going on, and I was trying to get past like her being distracting and not knowing what's happening in the film. And ultimately, like what really happened was I was just like, this is just kind of a Disturbia film, Jeepers Creepers a little bit. You feel that there's this impending evil coming, and I think some of the rewards really at the end. Yeah, I did like the ending to it. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like that was something I really didn't see coming. So I did appreciate that, but I think the fact that I kind of was just picking up on things happening here and there.
Okay.
And I wasn't too creeped out by it because you if you're the whole time watching, at least for me.
Yeah, just so circumstantially, you just weren't given the best opportunity to watch the movie. Yeah, so
it's
you can only base it on what you know.
It's just it's on a rewatch for me because you had it at 8 on your list.
For me, it was at number
13.
Yeah, 8.
8.
Number 8. So it's like at the top half.
I was about to say because I know that we've talked about it too, and he gave it high praise. And I was like, well, maybe I got to give it a second chance because it's like that in Trainspotting. Have you ever seen Trainspotting?
I have.
Yeah, like if you don't watch that with subtitles, like I think I don't know if you did or didn't.
I was able to pick up a little segue into Trainspotting for a bit. I was able to pick up what the context of the situations were.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't fully understand what the characters were saying.
Yeah.
Which was kind of my experience with The Witch.
Yes, that's what.
because this happens to me sometimes in movies, especially movies that are either the characters have accents or it's like a different dialect. I can pretty accurately pick up what's going on in a situation, even if I don't understand what the characters are saying. It was a little bit easier for me with Lighthouse because it's a little more forward in time.
Yeah.
As far as like a setting goes, because I think The Witch is supposed to take place in like the 1600s, right?
Yes.
And they're in
Pilgrim days.
Mm-hmm. And they're in England, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That one I don't honestly.
Yeah, so that just
let's just assume that.
Yeah, it just adds a layer of having a hard time understanding what they're saying.
I mean, such a thick accent compounded with that way of dialogue. It was just
is that noise you were talking about?
That's the noise.
What on earth was that? That is
it's a soundboard.
I don't know, dude.
That's some audio feedback mumbo jumbo if I've ever heard it.
It sucks that the USB cord hasn't seemed to fixed it.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
it was just $2 on Amazon.
It happens. This is the nice thing about being local. I mean, you get local problems.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
we'll find another solution.
All right, gotta jump back into it somewhere.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I
heard it
happened a lot sooner than last time too,
which is nice. That's actually the first, and I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I didn't hear it. The first time like Kyle was talking about, it, I was like, it sounded like a car out there. But yeah, that one's a little grumble.
It sounds like a fart. It sounds like someone's just like, yeah. Like even then, for a split second, I was.
You guys are gonna have a hard time arguing if you're the best smelling podcast if people think that they're hearing flatulence, but it's really just like audio feedback of some kind.
Right.
Well, I think people understand. You say, "Hey, we got some technical difficulties here." Unless everyone's expecting a high end. This is what we hear from, people that are making money off this.
Going back to The Witch.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those movies that benefits from a rewatch.
Yeah.
Because after knowing the things that happen in the movie and getting better context to the situation, you can kind of appreciate the language aspect of it a little more, and you can say to yourself, oh, okay, like this is what they mean when they say this. Even though to me it's like a totally different language and I can't understand a word of it.
Yeah, that's what Train Spotting is one that I kind of want to rewatch for the same instance. I think when you compound that, the language, the verbiage, or the jargon that they use, some of the slang, or how they just talk in The Witch, at least compounded with a heavy accent, and you really don't know what's happening, and you're just going off the context of what's in the scene rather than the dialogue that's being spoken. That's where I was getting, lost. Even so.
And that's totally fair. I mean, I think it was my third watch of the movie. Also, not in a row. I'm not obsessed. I should watch it with other people.
Fanboy.
But it was probably like my third watch of it when the youngest son gets possessed, like later in the movie.
Yeah.
He starts giving a speech. It took me like the third time to actually realize what he was saying because I never watched it with subtitles. And the first two times I watched it, it literally sounded like jargon. Like I didn't understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I had to sit down and pay attention, close attention to what he was saying.
And that might be it too. They might have used that as a device to get you really into the film, so you're actually watching, paying attention, listening. So when things like that do happen, I think the most shocking was the goat scene. That's the one that I remember the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's still even when I was watching it, not knowing what was going on, I was like, wow, that's kind of this is. So I think a rewatch would be appropriate. But for now, since where it's at from what I've seen, it's where it sits on the list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have worked myself up for the movie a lot. Back when it came out, I think it was 2016, maybe 2015 or 2016. Mm-hmm. This was during a period of time where I used to go to YouTube and I would Google indie movie trailers, and people would make a playlist of these indie movies I'd never heard of. And I would just watch the trailers over and over until I saw a trailer that I liked.
Yeah.
And then I saw a trailer for The Witch, and I was like, I have no idea what this is about. And I watched an interview with the director, and he said the movie was inspired by the old school classic horror movies, where you see something and it's creepy, but there's nothing jumping out or chasing after you. And so he was describing it, and he said something along the lines of, I'm going to botch it, but he said, fear is not you walking into a room and something jumping out and scaring you. He said fear is watching something close a door in a room and then you knowing it's in there, but nothing has happened yet. He's like, that's where fear stems from. So he said, he was inspired by this movie, inspired by the old directors to make this movie.
Yeah.
To make it just fear and creepy.
That's where
So like I think I watched the trailer and then I listened to the interview and I was like, okay, well, this movie's probably going to be great. And so I might have psyched myself up. But I just was a big fan of the movie, and I was surprised you had it so low.
It's, that's the other thing too. I mean, I think it really played into Disturbia about not knowing what was going on. I think it was doing more time thinking about what should be happening than what was actually happening. You walk into a door and you close it and turn off the lights. If the one person's like, there's something in here, and the other guy's like, where am I at? Why are the lights off? Like, that door just shut. What the hell? There's going to be one person that's going to be crapping their pants. The other guy's going to be just confused. So I think that's what, because I thought they did a good job with what you're saying. Kind of, I call it Disturbia. Just what's lurking out there in the shadows. We really don't know. We don't see it, and it's just your thoughts kind of playing, in your head about what it could be. The boogeyman doesn't exist, but if you think it's in the closet, you'll scare the crap out of yourself. You sit there and wait long enough.
Yeah, until you can open the door.
Exactly.
Or you just never open the door. That's the philosophy.
You call it Disturbia. I call it that awesome movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, saw that. I'm not going to drop a name on here, but that was definitely date night.
Oh.
Yep.
Nice.
That's about as far as it went.
Yeah. Shia LaBeouf really scared her into your arms, I'm sure.
Wow, if I was any smarter of a man back when I was like 14, 15, probably could have got a kiss out of it.
Oh.
Yeah. But that didn't happen, and I just cried in the first 15 minutes.
Oh. Was that because it was scary, or was that because you didn't get a kiss?
Well, his dad dies in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, yeah. And then he beats the shit out of that teacher.
Yeah,
and by the way, like, what the fuck is a teacher? Like, the kid's dad dies, and you're like,
what would your father think?
Yeah. I'm going to macho him by telling, like, your dad's dead. What do you know?
I'm going to front on this kid that's depressed.
Yeah.
In high school, you don't think too much about it, but, like, now I'm like, what the fuck?
The principal's like, hey, just so you know, this kid's dad just passed away, so go easy on him. And he's like, hey, why are you failing? Yeah. What would your dad think about it? It's like, dude, what do you think's gonna happen, man?
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, that was like, dude. I mean, they're just fly fishing. I don't want to go on the tangent, but, it was one of those things where I was like, man, like, and that guy, even if that film went on, wouldn't have played a big role in it. But I was still like, damn, dog.
Yeah.
What were you surprised about, or what did you want to
from your list
or anything?
Can I? Swiss Army Man. Am I missing something? Do I have to see this? Because you have it 1. You had it 6.
Yep.
So I mean,
it was. Oh my gosh! I remember seeing the trailer a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was really hyped. And then there's a lot of factors in this. I found out that Andy, the lead singer of Manchester Orchestra, he did all of the music behind the movie. And I was a huge fan of him. And then Daniel Radcliffe did it, and Paul Dano, which I love both of those. And I'm super glad that Daniel Radcliffe is even doing these indie movies. Like, he's only doing these like indie movies. Well, yeah. Oh, that movie was bad.
I don't just okay. Indie movies. I was like, I don't know.
Mac did a gun gesture referencing Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, which the junk.
In our opinion, is not the best.
Yes.
Daniel Radcliffe movie.
No. Chamber of Secrets might beat it.
Yeah, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, okay. But essentially he wanted to do a movie that's original, and you watch that movie and it's so original. It's like it includes all the elements that you wouldn't enjoy, but they make it work. Like, it's like a cappella music. The directors literally said that they hate a cappella music. They hate Cotton Eye Joe. They hate fart jokes. So they said, we want to write a movie that includes all of those and see how well we can make. Like, that was one of their philosophies behind the movie.
Oh, so this is kind of like a project film. Just say, let's have fun with it.
It's so great. And I'm going to say this. It's not like excluding the directors and what they think and the actors and whatever. The movie has like multiple meanings. Like, you can watch the movie. Person A can watch this movie and the movie, and they're like, that was the funniest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Person B can watch this movie and they go, I love the hidden messages in the movie about like the earth and like where you're going in friendship, like building friends, and then person C can watch it and be like, this movie's all about finding yourself. And it's a really sad story if you really think about it. And then all of them can be right. Like, I've seen the movie with multiple people, and each one has came out with a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was fascinating. So it's kind of like one of those movies where you watch it once and you're like, that's great. And you're like, I'm going to watch it from a different perspective the second time. I'm going to try to view it from following just this character.
Yeah.
And it's great. It had me dying, and it had me like...
It's a fun journey. It sounds like that. If you can watch a movie... If you could watch a movie repeatedly and take different perspectives or different views on where the character's at, I think that's what really makes a good movie too. I mean, if you can hop in and watch it 4 times and have 4 different outcomes from what you're seeing, that's pretty cool. I listened to a podcast, a film podcast, and they didn't have the best reviews on it, so I don't want to say it turned me off from it. It's just one of those things. I was like, I guess it's not as funny as what I was kind of thinking it would be. But you watched it.
I did.
When, like a year ago?
It was a little more than that. Probably when I first moved in to this house, so a couple years ago, I would say.
Because I remember at work we talked about it one day. You were just like, I watched Swiss Army Man, and I was like, how'd that go? And then you're like, actually, it was,
I had a good time with it. I thought I enjoyed the movie enough to where it's like number 6 on my list, and even though I've only seen it once, I thought it was consistently good throughout the entire thing. And I can easily see how the movie would not be for the normal moviegoer,
right?
Air quotes normal. But for me, it had a lot of heart, surprisingly. And surface level, when you watch the trailer, it's like, okay, it's like this gimmick movie, right? Daniel Radcliffe is a corpse, a literal corpse, who gets around the water by farting and can chop wood like a sort of weapon.
Paul Bunyan.
And he like uses his boner as a compass or whatever. Like it's absurd, but there's a surprising amount of weight behind the characters and their motivations and what they learn from each other, and it's surprisingly heartfelt in a lot of ways, which is why I think it's higher up on my list than a lot of the movies that I included.
Sure, because some of them are cut and paste, and some of them are built off the tension or like The Witch. I mean, there's maybe more of a theme than it is with kind of the soul. It sounds like.
And it was very surprising to me. I mean, despite the fact that you watch the trailer, you get a lot of the humor, but when you actually watch the movie, there's all these different emotions going on as the movie further progresses, and you see how lonely this guy is and how he literally just wants a friend. There's a lot of different metaphors going on in terms of him being alone on the island versus him being alone in the real world.
Sure, that's walking down the street surrounded by people.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's as simple as like a person who's dead wishing they were alive again, and a person who's alive wishing they were dead, and then them having that conversation. It's like that's essentially like the movie.
Yeah.
But you watch the trailer, like he's saying, and it's like fart jokes and
that's how it was portrayed. They were like,
and I think they nailed it, because like if they didn't have it, so like they could have easily done the movie with 2 normal people, just in a city, like talking to each other, and they could have the same. They wouldn't have the same effect.
Sure,
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a Hallmark movie.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
What does it mean to be alive?
It's set at Christmas time.
The swelling music as it comes in, and they're going down the hill on a wheelbarrow together. Yeah.
This Christmas, Paul Dano is.
No, so that's cool. That's one that I know when the trailer came out, I remember seeing that, and they let you know this is what type of film it's going to be, and I didn't think that it's cool hearing that the director wanted to do that. I hate this, so let's put it in a film and see how we can make this fun. And that's a cool way to think about how a movie gets made. Not just here's a script, here's $100 million, let's go.
Yeah, and what is fascinating too, I'm just gonna say one more thing, because like I loved the movie, so I just wanted to look at it, but one of the things I loved is that if you look at the budget for the movie, the budget was I don't even know. I wonder if I Google it. It's something like $1 million or something. And so that Daniel Radcliffe, this millionaire, he did it for chump change. Like he literally did it just to be in a fun movie. Like he's just like, oh, this is a great story. I'm just gonna do this movie. I don't care if I get a lot of money.
He probably is just tired of Harry Potter shit. It was just like, let's just go out, have fun. And
I just love Paul Dano too. Like since Little Miss Sunshine, it's like, oh my goodness,
one of the many movies he gets the shit kicked out of him. Because that's basically him as an actor, right? He gets typecast as.
Now that I was just about to think, like that happened, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, just like that.
Yeah,
I know. I know people that hate Paul Dano because they just go. They can say every movie he's in, he's whining. I'm like, yeah, but I was like trying to think of a way to defend that.
He's kind of perfect for it, though.
I'm like, come on, please. He's a beautiful person.
He's kind of perfect for that. Maybe that's why he gets the shit kicked out of it. Because everyone's like, they look at you and they want to hit you. So we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
Gideon, one of the things that I guess didn't really surprise me as much as it did Mac when you read it on your list was how low Uncut Gems was.
Oh, my God.
So we can talk about that for a little bit. Because for me, it's number 3, and for Mac is number 2, right?
Yeah, and I think it's number 2, one, probably because it's one of the most viewed films that I've seen, but it's one of the most memorable ones, too. Now, it's funny, though, because your number 1 kind of goes off the soul and the wit and, that experience. For me, I mean, that got so high just simply because of the fact that I just appreciated it, and I'm in it with them that whole time, and I definitely can get that rush that, they kind of portrayed in the film. So, yeah, what happened is what the
hell happened
wants to know. All right, did you lose money on this too?
Just like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a good defense. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. I think it's similar to your situation with The Witch.
Okay.
Where I think it was circumstantial because have you seen the movie Whiplash?
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched Uncut Gems on let's say it's a Friday. I think it was a Friday. So I watched Uncut Gems on a Friday. And when I watch a new movie, I have like an immediate opinion, and then I have an opinion that develops over like 24 hours.
Marinate. You got to marinate in the film and think how it impacts.
So this is all I'm going to say initially, and then you guys can add them on it. Is that I watched this movie and I was like, wow, that was I had a lot of anxiety. I was anxious the whole time watching it. I hated the main character, but I'm like, oh, it's kind of fun to watch what shit he's getting into.
Yeah.
It was like a train wreck over and over.
Yeah.
So I watched that movie and then, turned it off and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to think about it. I'm not a huge Adam Sandler fan, but he does have classics that I liked as a kid. So this is interesting.
Yep.
The next day I watched Whiplash, which you could argue is equally anxious. Like it's just him trying to
yes. In a different, it's not as many bad decisions, but it is a kind of,
it's not life or death. It's not life or death, but it's just anxiety building up over and over. Yeah. And I got so much more anxious watching Whiplash than I did Uncut Gems, to where I think it washed it out. Like I think I watched Whiplash and I was just like, as soon as he joined the jazz band and then the dude just starts screaming at him, I was like, oh my God. And I was on the edge of the seat for the rest of the movie, just trying to figure out where's this going to go? Like, how is he going to pull through this whole movie? And so then when at that point, by the time Sunday hit, I was thinking about these 2 movies I watched this weekend, and I was like, man, like Whiplash hit me hard, but Uncut Gems was just a dumb guy making mistakes, and it was, and I'm not trying
dumb guy. He owned a jewelry shop, man.
Yeah,
he was floating money left and right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I thought the movie was good, I really did, but it's like I could only compare it to Whiplash because those were the 2 movies that were just soaking in my head that I couldn't.
That's a good point.
I don't know. It's hard. Like I said, I don't have a good defense.
You watch, everyone, I want to say too, Gideon is the one that did the intro and the outro for the podcast. So this is his opinion, and obviously you can tell he's biased. All right. So
I want the intro back.
Yeah, that's just joking.
I'm going to start my own podcast where we just trash Uncut Gems.
The end of this episode, the outro is just stock music I find from another website.
Oh, boy. Yeah, he literally took some his drum set and ran.
Yeah, some royalty-free music.
But no, I get that because that's a tough one, too, because it's like, all right, you have a really good film that you watch, and then all of a sudden you combat it with another good film. It's not like you had a really bad film that you saw and it's just like, oh, that killed 2 hours because I'm waiting to go here. Like you saw 2 really good films, and then obviously the one that's going to impact you more is the one that's going to take over. So Uncut Gems just maybe didn't get its due, but there's probably other factors playing into it too. I mean, I know some people that don't like being anxious, that continually see it. Like my brother, he saw Uncut. I mean, he kept doing it. He was sweating. He told me he was just kind of how can you keep doing and it made him so anxious, and he hated every decision he made. But at the end of it, he got done with it. He's like, I love that film, and I'm like, why? It made you feel like crap, And he goes, dude, because that's what they wanted you to feel, and for them to pull me into that environment and get out of that film and make it feel like, I was trying to avoid cars on a highway. It's pretty impressive.
For sure.
Some films don't do that, and that's where I think in Whiplash too. That is a tough one because I like Whiplash a lot too. The characters and that J.K. Is it J.K. Simmons?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
my God.
dude.
It was like the best role he's ever been in.
Am I
insane.
rushing or am I dragging? Like the first time you see it,
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
No, that scene was insane to me. My friend wanted to watch it, and he's like, he's a drummer. And he's like,
Yeah.
you want to watch this movie about jazz drumming? And I was like, no. No, I
literally
don't.
couldn't think of anything less I want to do than that.
And he just kept saying it's good. And I was like, okay, sure. I'm not doing anything. Let's just watch it.
Yeah, throw it on.
And then holy crap, who would have thought jazz drumming versus some dude who's getting hunted down by killers, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there's two very opposite sides of the spectrum.
And so I just put them in the same category because I like when a movie can make me feel anxious. Like I like when a movie makes me feel something, which is why I rewatch movies. If I watch a movie and it makes me feel a certain way, I'm like, I have to show this person. I have to show my siblings. They'll love this, you know. Yeah. That's why I end up rewatching a movie 3 times with a different audience each time.
I think for me, my enjoyment of Uncut Gems kind of stems from a similar reason why yours is kind of lower on the list, is because mine was a little circumstantial. So I went and saw it when it came out in theaters, and I was surprised that it came out at the Cinema Carousel because normally the cinema only shows like really big movies, and this was before COVID, so it's not like they were limited on what they could show.
Were you already on the A24 train? Like, were you kind of like, I know the production house, I know that this I'm excited because I was kind of getting there. I wasn't quite there, but the Safdie brothers is the reason why because of Good Time.
Yep, and I saw Good Time before I saw Uncut Gems, which was part of the reason why I was looking forward to watching this. Another reason why I was looking forward to watching this is because Adam Sandler never usually does these types of movies. He's only done like 3 movies where he actually plays a serious character. You know, the rest of his movies, he's just himself hanging out
Can you name
with his
one?
friends.
Can you name one? Can I name one? You said 3.
Okay.
All right. You go first because you could knock him out. He could go, I don't have another one.
All right. Punch Drunk Love.
I'm not a huge Adam Sandler fan.
Oh, really?
I like 50 First Dates.
No, that's comedy.
No, I know. I'm saying though, like I haven't seen a lot of his movies.
If you can't do it, just say I'm out, man.
All right.
It says Jack and Jill.
You got it.
It was Jack and Jill is probably a serious role because he seriously took it. He took one. Jack and Jill.
He seriously thought people would go see it.
I mean, you got a Razzie for it, so
it's either Jack and Jill or Grown Ups 2, I think.
For his most serious that you can think of in a role,
and his best.
Classic Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're on your deathbed and your kids come up to you, you're gonna hand them those 2 VHSs.
The purest Sandler can be.
I wish I could think. Oh my god, because it's gonna bug me. It's the one with Jamie Foxx, and it's after 9/11, and it's called like the Soloist.
I didn't even think about that one. Rain Over Me.
Rain Over Me. Yes. So I'm gonna give myself credit on that. Even though I didn't know
I didn't even think of that one.
Well,
I guess there's 4.
Mine, you freaking punk. That sounds like he's not going to say it.
Well, the other one I thought of was Meyerowitz Stories, which I still have to see.
That one, yeah, that's close because that is I've seen it. It's funny. I mean, it's more comedic. I guess it's more of
is it more grounded? Because that's kind of the vibe that I get.
It's not Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, but it's real. It's like, I mean, I would just say,
because Ben Stiller's in it too.
It's a family story and it's a comedic family story. It's a Jewish dad, and it's just kind of growing up in this house with siblings.
Yeah.
Not growing up, but like, after the fact, we're all growing up, coming back, and the dad's a character. But anyways, yeah.
And Noah Baumbach directed it, right?
Yes.
And he did Marriage Story.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Talk about that is a wonderful movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God,
that hurt me so much.
Oh.
I hated watching it because it was so good.
It
was so real.
Yes.
I felt like I was just watching I was like a fly on the wall during a couple.
Just watching a relationship fall apart.
Wow.
The acting in that movie is immaculate.
I really thought about that movie after. And I'm not even married. And I was like, I don't want to get divorced.
I think that's like a one-time watch too. Like that is like one movie that you see, you're like, that'll stick with me forever, but I don't know if I need to go through that like fight again.
I know I'm going to do it like probably in like a year or 2.
Don't say that because you got big things coming up.
That's true. I do have a wedding.
So hold off. Yeah, I was going to say hold off on. And I'm glad you didn't say 15 years either. Let's just say you're going to see it the one time and you'll just.
Don't let Marriage Story be the first movie you watch as a married couple.
Oh God.
No, I'm trying to remember you guys' list, but did either of you see 8th Grade?
No. I have not.
So
okay, I will not talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, that's because that's it's Bo Durham, right?
Bo Burnham, yeah.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Durham.
Bo Durham.
Bo Durham, go get him.
I was just gonna say that I would put that in a similar category as like Uncut Gems, in a sense where you're just following a person and the movie's filmed in a way where you're
uncomfortable.
You're just like, they put you in the uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, I heard like is there a daughter with a dad, and it's just
it's really good.
Okay, I know I've heard about it, and it was one of those things. You know, if I gotta have access to like a streaming service for me to see some of these films too. That's what I get.
Yeah.
You talk about some of it, and what sucked is Netflix reigned over for a while, so like you always had that hope that after a year it's gonna be like HBO, where they buy it out, or you get to see some of the older stuff, you know. And now there's so much stuff out there. It's just free trials.
Can I see your phone?
They had
hold
they
on
had
one
everything.
second.
I won't look at the bottom.
Hold on, because I'm gonna do that. I just want.
Okay.
So that way, because the fun,
don't look at the fun list yet.
I'm kind of excited about that one because I definitely think that we'll be able to, because we're gonna have to collaborate on the fun one.
Oh yeah, we can.
You know, that
Absolutely.
one I'm really curious as to see.
We'll come to like a universal agreement.
So you, there's a lot of these movies I haven't seen. But
Yeah, which is crazy too, because I think you guys had a little cross. So like actually,
we can all say Green Room is great. Best thriller.
My number one.
Green Room is fantastic. So you have it, Green Room as 3. What do I have it as? Maybe 4?
I watched.
No, I have it as 2.
2.
I have it as
1, 2, and 3. I mean,
Wow.
that's, you can't, that and Hereditary are probably like if people were like, what movies should we watch unanimously, we could say those two.
The most consistent.
Yeah.
Green Room was a movie I watched, but that was before I knew A24 was a thing. Like
Same.
I just saw that there was like this movie about these punk kids that like had to like. There was like almost no information about the movie when I saw it.
It was the director is
Jeremy Saulnier.
he's the one that I was telling you got to check out. He's done a couple, like he's got Murder Party that I haven't seen that I want to check out. He has Blue Ruin, which is kind of a slow burn. I mean, that one I know I recommended to you, and I was like, I watched it again, and I was like,
I enjoyed Blue Ruin. Not an A24 movie, I found out.
Yeah,
which is why it's not on my list. But that movie is like I don't know. It's a good like movie that comes before Green Room.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like a prequel or anything, but they're like not related.
Like if you watch it, I'm guessing you watch it.
It's a very similar style.
Yeah, it's so Jeremy Saulnier, and then
because it's a color and a thing.
Mm. Yeah, I think no. Yeah,
I don't know if the title even plays into it there, but it.
No, I don't think so. It's just kind of like it's almost like a placeholder title in a way. At least Green Room, they're in a green room.
Yeah,
and there's a green tint over the entire movie.
Yeah. So Green Room I've only seen once. I want to watch it again. I have a little bit of a queasiness to No, I was just gonna say that's why I saw it the one time. I was like, I'm watching this, and I was like, oh.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is that I have seen the Saw movies when I was young. You know, they're terrible, and I don't really want to rewatch them. And I've seen gory movies, but
gore porn is what they.
But the reason
torture porn.
The reason Green Room like stuck out to me is it is the movie where the actors are. It's the best acting I've ever seen in pain. Like I've never seen actors behave that way before.
Oh yeah.
For example, like when they I don't know, I don't want to give away things in the movie, but when events happen in the movie and someone is like stabbed or hurt, the actors behave in a way where it looks so real and the practical effects look so real that it makes me queasy.
Yeah.
And I've never felt that before. Like I never felt that way before. If I watched Saw when I was in middle school and I was like, oh, queasy because, it was new to me.
Yeah.
But watching Green Room as like an adult, I was like, holy crap, I'm having the same feelings I had when I was like 12.
For me, it's, so you have like Saw, it makes me uncomfortable just being like, cause
it is torture porn.
Well, you
There's
watch
no
it
point.
And it's like, I always do that. I don't know if you guys like that. You watch a movie, do you put yourself in that scenario? So like the chicken wire scene in Saw was one of the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a movie, just because I'm like, I can't get out of that. That looks awful. I would just be tortured the whole like that. So, and then the other thing I don't like are just like compound fractures, bone snapping. Like I can take a stabbing. Like you throw in a stabbing in an action film or something like that, and it actually looks like a stabbing. Like I could be like, oh, that would hurt a lot. But I can handle that.
Yeah.
But like watching bones snap or like someone fall 3 stories and then you see like, pop out,
that's not fun.
Like, and it's just like, man, that would hurt a lot. So those are the 2 things I don't enjoy seeing in films. You know, they just kind of make me. And Green Room, I knew that was gonna happen. So actually watching it, it wasn't as startling as what it would
they
be.
Make it,
yeah,
they make it realistically violent.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say, I want to preface, I was comparing Saw just because I was thinking of the first movie that had gore, but Green Room is not torture porn.
No, not even close. I mean,
it's a thriller. It's like
Hey, these guys. They're what? They're like they're a startup band, and they go to do a performance. They're a neo punk band.
Yep.
They kind of think they're hardcore, and then they find a place to do the show at, and it ends up turning out that it's filled with a bunch of neo Nazis.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, but bunch of white supremacists.
Yeah, it's funny too because they don't even have to be neo Nazis. Like the movie, they don't have to be neo Nazis in a sense.
They could have been a biker gang. They could have been any sort of.
Yeah, it adds to it.
Yeah, well, it's a cool premise too. Because I mean, like when you go to tell someone, like if you're like they get captured at a biker gang or a biker gang bar and they got to get out, you're like, okay, and then you go, it's a bunch of neo Nazis and white supremacists. You're like, oh shit.
How they have like this whole like thing, but. Man.
I think a part of the appeal too is that like it's kind of an unknown like how far they'll go.
Yeah.
Because like you're like, all right, are these white supremacist guys who like, you know, will just try to intimidate us, or will they literally kill us if they get the chance?
And I like the thing I like about the movie too is like you watch the movie and you're like, oh, like this guy's, you know, he's being really nice, you know, like oh, he's being good, and then you finish the movie, you're like, oh shit, I was like there was like a 20-minute period I was rooting for the Nazi. Because you know you forget, you're like, oh wait, they're like terrible people.
Well, they act very realistic in how I think those situations would play out, because
it's like
they attempt to like, I mean, they basically like lie to them saying the police are on the way, you know, they're coming, and it gives them like this sense of like, okay, at least this guy's reasonable. I can reason with this guy. Meanwhile, Patrick Stewart's character, who's the guy who owns the venue and is the head of the neo-Nazis, is on his way to figure out how to deal with the situation, and by deal with the situation, figure out how to kill these people and hide their bodies.
Yeah, but the characters don't know that.
Yeah, the characters don't know that.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, they're a little on edge, but you can see in their faces moments of like reassurance that never come.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The whole first quarter, maybe like third of the movie, you're like, oh, okay, this is gonna work out. I think they'll be able to get out. And you're like,
so that's
no, it's not.
Well, because for me, it's like watching it. It's just like, all right, like when is this gonna turn? When is it gonna go bad? You know, and I always feel bad for in a movie too, because like you watch it, you know, when they give you the glimmer of hope in a movie, and it's like in real life, you really hope that it works out. Yeah. But in the movie, you know it's not. Mm-hmm. I always get suckered for that glimmer of hope.
Same.
So this movie's filled with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's all these things, like, you know it's going to turn. So if in the back of your head, like, this isn't going to go well, I even feel like I empathize so much more with what they're going through at that point. Because it's like, oh my God, that wave isn't going to come down. Like, it's only swelling.
And you know, another aspect about it too, it kind of like relating to that, is there are so many different variables in the story that they easily could have gone to, and they show those variables, but they only serve as like to make the movie and the situation more realistic. Yeah. Because you often place yourself in those situations and you say to yourself, oh, I would do this, or like, oh, we could like escape out of the basement or whatever.
Yep.
That's like got a lock on the outside, but we can figure out a way. They have so many of those instances in the movie that make it more realistic, and it kind of like puts you in that perspective of like, okay, this movie is like the characters like could easily go like one certain way,
right,
and then they choose to go like another way. It's like kind of shows you like the different branches of paths they could take, and what ultimately happens to the characters is you know, that you get that result.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, it plays out like it. And you know, that's the one thing that's kind of a theme with A24 is they take one of the more realistic approaches that you can. Like if here's a movie that, I mean, we're showing you a cinematic piece, but we're also going to play it off like this is what would happen in the real world if we were in this universe. Because
the characters, they make decisions that you might not necessarily make, but you can see why they make them.
It's not mindless. It's not like that commercial where it's like, let's go hide behind the chainsaws. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're definitely like sitting there like, I don't think I do that, but at the same time, you're not ruling it out.
There's a purpose to each character's actions. Yeah. You can see their reasoning, even if it doesn't lead them to a good place.
And it probably, I would almost say too, you could probably, if I watch it again, I'd be interested to see how those characters kind of prior to that, if before the actions start happening and their reasonings define, if you could see like, their mannerisms or actions before those events take place and say, oh yeah, I could definitely see that guy making this decision.
Yeah, see, I feel that too. Like if you watch a horror movie, I mean, how many times have you watched any sort of movie where there's a chance of death and you're like, why did you fucking do that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Yeah, why did you do that?
Dude, you can swear.
We're local. All right.
We're local. We smell good.
Yeah.
We're
Public access,
New
baby.
t-shirt,
2 a.m. They don't care.
T-shirt, Patreon right there. We're local. We smell good. All right.
But in this movie, and I know this almost kind of contradicting kind of like what you were saying, but like the characters do things like I'll be watching a scene in this movie and a character will do something. I'll go, oh my God, I would have done that. Like this dude's like, we can't let this guy walk out the door. You're like, yes, you can't. Don't let him go.
Oh my God.
And then you're like, oh my God, these people are behaving like real people. Like they're not doing, none of the characters, especially the band, none of them do something stupid.
No,
none of them at any point do they do something.
Like there's a decision you disagree with.
There's a few like rash decisions.
Yeah, I guess. That's true. But
you could disagree with them, but at the same point, like if you could watch it and be like, all right, in a world, I would make that decision.
It's not unrealistic.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of,
Okay, I guess never mind. I'm thinking about a few things, but.
Yeah,
if I'm going to nitpick.
There are a couple things that
there are, because I was about to say, I remember like watching it being like, all right. Like,
I guess I'm thinking at like up to a certain point in the movie. I don't know.
For sure. But I mean, like, think about the premise. Like, it's a punk rock band that's held behind closed doors trying to figure out a way out of a white supremacist stronghold. Like, I'm not going to fault you for being like, all right, it got to a certain point. It kind of got a little.
There was one point it was a little unbelievable.
Like, whoa, Gideon, hold on. Time out now. All right, time out. I don't want you to start bashing the thing. All right. No, that's where, and that's one of the things I liked about, I thought about A24 on the way over here was just kind of that reality aspect that they hold, and that a lot of the things I think that they do in terms of decision making, and I will say probably the first time they make a movie where it's something that you don't quite agree with, or you think's like a horror movie where it's like, why did they do that? They're gonna make it like totally like a parody. They're gonna like blow it out of the world and just make it, and probably actually make it like really fun and dark humor. Maybe like Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah,
Ooh.
They do strange
things. Is that you attempting a segue right
there? I haven't seen it, but you guys can discuss it.
Yeah, we won't talk.
Sorry.
We won't talk spoilers.
No, and we don't. And honestly, I'm gonna say I have it at number 1 because it's stuck.
That surprised me.
Stood for me for the longest time. And I'm still like a little bit fuzzy. I know the happenings and where I was. So I remember I just threw it on. Like I heard it was kind of funny, so I throw it on.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, like dark humor.
Ooh.
Like so. I mean,
I guess there's some elements of that, but
dude, I laughed throughout this thing. Like if you take it,
the killing of a sacred deer.
Well, so you haven't seen it. Do you know the premise of it?
No.
We can give like a quick spoiler-free synopsis.
No, that's what I was gonna say. All it is Colin Farrell is a doctor, and he has there's this 13, 14-year-old kid that's a friend of his that he meets up with, and they'll go out for lunch, and it's a weird relationship that they kind of have. You can tell it's not something that's symbiotic, I guess. I don't know.
It's not something that's a normal thing.
Right. You'll see it, like when you see it on screen, you're like, this is unusual.
You kind of get suspicious when it first comes.
And it's nothing like dirty or anything like that. It's just kind of like what happened.
It's not like an old school like 80s movie where the kids were like best friends with like 50-year-old dudes.
No, it's nothing like that where they end up like
Goonies, it's like we found this like mentally disabled like pirate and
there's no buried treasure. Actually, it's quite the opposite. But anyways,
yikes.
They find out this kid ends up telling Colin Farrell after someone gets sick in his family, he's like, I've essentially poisoned your family members. You're going to have to make a decision. And it just goes from there. And it's ludicrous. It's kind of like, obviously what he does or what happens is something where you're like, that's not possible. But as you go through and watch Colin Farrell have to go through and analyze and try to make of what's happening, not only that, but he's ambushed because he's got 3-5 days a week to make this decision.
I think it's I don't remember much from it. I've only seen it once and it was a while ago, but I think it was like a week or something.
That's what I want to say. I think so you got to think too, you got a week to make a really big decision in your life, on how fast can you do it, especially so, if they get your poison, essentially poison his family members, you're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. So there's a lot going on with his like rationale and thinking and analyzing the situation and just kind of going through this with him. Obviously, you feel bad for kind of like what's going on, but there are like a lot of dark humor elements to it, and I found myself like laughing like throughout the film.
Interesting.
You know, so but there's another takeaway from it if you view it like a real life event.
I viewed it as like very situational, and it's interesting that you laughed throughout it because I don't think I laughed once.
Really?
While watching the movie. Yeah.
So you gotta go. I went like, remember like Tenet? Like I took a totally different approach walking into that. With this one, I did too. I said, all right, I don't want to have it where I'm gonna act like I'm in this world and I have to go through this. I'm gonna act like this is kind of like a ludicrous thing to have happen to you, and I just want to see how you go about doing it. Because obviously, like if you get emotionally attached or you think about, all right, what's going to happen with these people, then yeah, you have a totally different take. Severing that and just saying, I want to observe this guy from like a microscope and watch him like with his
And that's kind of what I
decision-making.
did. I sort of put myself in that situation and I said, okay, I'm going to take this at face value as something that happens in this world.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to try my best to relate to the character, to see what decision he ends up making.
Yep.
And hopefully what comes out of that is something that I enjoy. And I didn't hate the movie at all. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
There were some things about it that I didn't like as much as a lot of other people would.
Right.
But to me, it's something that stuck with me. It's something that was visually gorgeous, and the music itself was just so anxious inducing. The main issue I had with it, and I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything, but the main issue I had with it was where it all led up to, where I was thinking it was going to lead to, and ultimately kind of being disappointed by the result that I got. And I thought there was a lot of like foreshadowing that wasn't actually foreshadowing. It almost kind of felt like a fake out in a way.
Yeah.
Which, maybe you and I can discuss in a future episode,
Yeah.
Getting into actual details. But for me, it kind of took away from the overall enjoyment of it. In a way.
I mean, and I agree with you because it is like, it's a dark, I would say I guess all A24 films are kind of dark, but this one's a little bit more, it's family centered. So I think that always is a little bit different than when you get stuck in a room with a bunch of, neo-Nazis. Like,
yeah, it's like there's a countdown.
Yeah, like exactly, and I think it hits a little bit different because you're actually if you're thinking about being where Colin Farrell's at in that film, like it would suck if I was Colin Farrell and I had to do what he was doing.
Yep,
that's where I think if you watch it that way, you'll appreciate it, but definitely don't like it because by the end of it, it's just like this really blows. But like for me, just kind of being like, all right, I'm gonna sit on my perch and I'm gonna watch this from afar. And obviously, this is something that for me, is like, won't happen. I just want to see how much. And I thought it was, dude. I mean, I laughed quite a bit, and just seeing some of his like struggles and his oh shit moments, and like because you're almost like it almost be like if we were in this room and someone cast a spell. Like for us being in the room, we're like, it's reality now. But for someone sitting out there and being like, all right, all that's not really happening. Like it would be a lot funnier to watch than what we're actually going through.
Right.
So that's where I was kind of.
I was just say I think I can predict how you're gonna view A24's new Lamb movie.
Ooh.
Where I think the chick fucks the lamb or something, has a baby.
Something
like that.
I can't. I mean,
Mac is gonna have a field day just laughing. He's like, look at that lamb
walking
upright.
It's funny that you say that.
It's wearing a coat.
I had a thought before I saw it on Reddit, because I go to the movie subreddit pretty often, I would say, and I had the same thought, and then I saw someone else make the post that got like 1,000+ upvotes that said,
damn, you were one post late.
I know.
Damn.
It said A24 Lamb is the most A24 movie A24 has ever made.
I know. That's exactly my thought. It's like when I was saying our friend Jill, she was like, A24 just makes these really weird movies and they're so dry. And then it's like, what, ends on a weird note. It's like the way she described all A24 movies. When I watched the trailer for Lamb, I was like, yo, Jill had it right. This movie looks like the weirdest thing I've ever going to see.
It looks like they're trying to make it the poster child for A24 right now.
And I'll be honest, like, I usually don't like to watch trailers if it's a movie I do want to see. But I watched this trailer and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a bad movie, but just based on the trailer and the atmosphere that it shows, I feel like I'm gonna watch the movie and I'm gonna go, yeah, that was a weird one, and then that's probably gonna be it.
That's where it'll be
just
left.
Be a one hit.
That's really what I think. It's weird, and I think it's gonna be like a one off because every year and whatnot, sometimes there's like a weird movie that gets a lot of hype.
I'm hoping that it will be a good story because I'll probably see it eventually.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping it's not going to be like weird for the sake of being weird.
See, that's
that's what I'm scared of.
I think it's going to be. It's going to be that way.
I think it's like, hey, this is a brand defining moment. Let's make this and let everyone know this is what type of film, production house we are. Which I don't know. I mean, I think we've got 20 films on here, but they've come out with 100. I mean, I think there's I don't know. I think they tailor a lot of their stuff. Trying to if it's not grounded in their reality, they'll take a universe and ground it in reality in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. I don't think they pull these films and they're like, we're just gonna be ludicrous and funny and crazy and eccentric for no reason. Like I really every time I watch at least the movies I've seen, there's a drive for them. So you watch these things and however crazy, like Killing of a Sacred Deer is kind of insane. But at least in that universe, like this is happening, and they go through events where you actually like reason with the characters. So it would be. I'm curious because maybe we'll watch it, we'll all see it, and just be like, "Wow, like that's a really fucked up film." But like everything that was happening, like being in that time and place, like I would do that or I wouldn't do it. But at least you have a reasoning for why you wouldn't do it. And it wasn't just to drive the film.
I hope it's. I hope it's good. It looks like it's going to give me similar vibes as like The Witch, for example, because it's in a different language too, and it looks really dreary, and they're kind of isolated.
I've just seen the poster. It's just her holding like a lamb. Right?
Literally, the trailer started, and it was a lamb, and then it was no direct shots, but it was like a baby being born from a lamb, and then just someone like looking down strangely, like that doesn't look like a lamb, and I literally was like, yo, I bet you that lamb is half human, half lamb.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know.
Centaur.
Yeah. And then like the trailer played out. And then I think there's like a shot where it's like walking upright, holding hands with the mom.
You
and
never,
I was like, yo.
You never see it like super directly, but you get the idea of like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think it's going to be like, this thing is born somehow. She cares for it. And then the dude is like, you can't care for this thing. This thing's a monster. We got to kill it. And then all the lambs are like, don't kill our child. And the lady's like, I hate you. And she like tries to join the lambs, kind of like raise this thing to be a person, and then the husband's like, no, you're crazy, and then he ends up dying or something. I just have a whole idea of how it's going to play out.
We're gonna have to actually watch this and then come back and see how it
or
plays
it could be
out.
a twist. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah,
there probably is a twist.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a lamb.
It sounds
person.
like have you heard The Lobster? You haven't seen The Lobster? Obviously.
No, I haven't
seen it either. But
it sounds kind of like
to see it.
Yeah, I'm in the same
director as Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. You say that and it resonated with me as a name I recognize now.
He also did Dogtooth, which I really want to see.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Dogtooth?
No, but I know that it won Best Foreign Film for an Oscar one year.
All it is a guy has a family and he doesn't want his kids to leave, so you can leave the house when you lose your dog tooth.
Interesting.
So he obviously you can tell that.
Wait a minute! I didn't watch that movie, but I know about
Sounds
that movie.
Familiar?
Yeah. I looked into that movie before
because I liked The Killing of a Sacred Deer. He also did the Oscar-winning movie not too long ago. I can't remember the film.
Describe it.
I'll look it up while
you. Hermione, and she was like a jester for the queen, or she was a queen's right hand lady.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he directed that one too. I wish I could.
I'll be honest, I have actually no idea what you're talking about.
Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah, so I've just seen Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Favorite?
Yes, that was it. What other films? So he's got Dogtooth, The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Favorite.
There's Alps. There's an upcoming movie titled Poor Things that's coming out 2022.
Poor Things?
Mm-hmm.
That's a picture of me.
And then before Dogtooth is just two other movies. One titled My Best Friend and the other one titled Kinetta.
Okay.
Both, neither of which I've heard of before.
Those are probably just the four. Is The Favorite spelled with a O-U or just a O?
O-U.
I thought so.
As you can tell a lot. Like color.
There's a bit of
On that note,
sniveling of the
Man,
nose.
I'm just gonna say, that's pretty condescending and a little pretentious. Okay,
I do have to ask on that, weird spelling. How do you spell gray?
Gray?
Yeah, like how would you write it? I'm curious because I'm an E person.
You're an E person?
Yes,
Oh.
but like not on purpose. Like I've always wrote gray with an E.
I'm an A person.
That's a really good question.
What
Wow, you guys are putting me in the spot, huh?
Yeah, I'm curious. Also, on the same note, how do you spell axe? Because you can do A-X-E or A-X.
I do AXE.
I do A-X-E as well.
Yeah.
Okay, at least we're in agreement on that.
AX just seems incomplete. It seems like
it makes me think of the body spray, right?
But the body spray is AXE.
Oh, is it?
Whoa.
Yes.
I want to do the other one.
You changed. I vow today. What's the
pig.
day? October 14th. October 14th, 21. You are never gonna write axe with an E.
I'm officially converting.
By the way, Axe, if you're listening, we'll take that as a sponsor.
Axe.
Axe, I really like your Dark Waters deodorant.
You guys, we smell good
that I
without
get for
Axe.
Christmas.
I was about to say that's our plug, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't use it. I just like to look at it.
That's what I'm saying too.
What's the blue one that everyone had in middle school?
Oh gosh.
Was it called like Cobalt or called like?
Yeah, it was
really?
like Cobalt.
It was
something.
no, it was like this.
It was like Steel Cobalt.
Yeah, it was a real broy like locker room name. Hold on.
Yeah.
Like you look at it and you can hear the sounds of slamming into lockers because you got pushed by a bully.
See, now that's the one. Like I see deodorant like Axe, and I just hear like ocean waves, like a really.
Really?
Yeah, but
I
that's
just think of
deodorant.
Phoenix. That's what it was. It was Phoenix.
You want to know how stupid I am? Like people are like they'll watch a B-Dubs commercial and be like, "Man, I really want some wings," and I'll just watch it and I'll be like, I don't get why that chick is like, is she being modern? Is she relating to people that don't drip on my drip? Like, I just get into like way too deep of, I don't even think of B-Dubs. I just watch the commercial and start thinking about the people. Like, or Axe body spray. Like, they got all the dumb commercials. Like, I literally just like, that might as well be a deodorant without a brand on it. And like, if I pick it up and smell it, I'm like, that smells good. Like, I'll go with it. Like,
I would
literally could care less about.
I don't have TV, so I don't typically watch commercials.
Yeah, what B-Dubs commercial are you talking about?
I do have to be honest.
You guys haven't seen that one yet, man? That's a pretty good one.
I'm not sure what he's saying, but I do have I do have a similar. No, I have a similar point because I follow like Jake Gyllenhaal on Instagram because I'm a huge fan of him.
Said that.
I'm a huge fan of him, but he like was in a cologne, like a really fancy cologne commercial, and it's like. It's like Maverick cologne.
Versace.
And it's like a video of him in like Antarctica, like riding on a sailboat, and like then him like looking dramatically off.
Sure.
And then it's like
in the beard.
Yeah, and then it's like this is what it feels like. And then it ends, and I was like, well, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. That did not make me want to get that cologne.
I was just thinking about what smell we're emitting right now and what our commercial would be, but.
Yeah.
We'll save that for a different day.
Best smelling podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you hear that, like, I wonder what people, like, when we say that, what do they envision? Being on the white sands out in some Caribbean lagoon.
Can I see your list again?
I feel like you're trying to
I want to get back in. Well, I just really want to get back into it. Because, we have Midsummer on, not Midsummer, sorry. What was I looking at? Ex Machina.
Whoa. Okay. Good?
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. You had Ex Machina pretty high?
I have it, not really. It's on the lower half. It's at number 12 for me. So out of 19.
I have it 6, but honestly, just looking at my list right now, You'd bump it down? I would bump it down because Lady Bird is underneath. Moonlight is underneath. 8th Grade. Mm-hmm. And like all those, I love Lady Bird. Lady Bird's a really good movie.
I have Lady Bird above.
Moonlight, off your heart.
Moonlight is fantastic. I waited years. I waited years to see Moonlight. Wait, you have Moonlight on there.
Yeah, I liked Moonlight. For me, so when I first saw Moonlight, dude, I've never been like so. I have, but like ripped at the heart.
It hurt.
Somewhat like
yeah.
So that was my like when I first saw it, I was like, man, that's a really good film. And then like looking back, I'm like, that one like you see it. I saw it the one time and I was like, dude, that was a gut punch. Like that really. Yeah. And like the ending is probably the most like enjoyable part of that like whole movie.
Yeah, I like that it's split up. Like it's about the kid and it's split up into 3 sections of his life. So you watch like him when he's young, when he's like. Whatever, medium and then old. If medium's a good way to put it.
But is that how you label people?
young
Am I in the medium bracket right now?
Yeah,
Am I old?
I guess we're medium. No, but it was wonderful. It won awards, and I was like, I never knew what it was about, you know. And so like I watched it one day, and I was like, oh wow, why did I wait so long to see this? It's great.
I mean, it's really. I think it's. Have you seen Moonlight?
I have.
Yeah.
Gideon's actually the one who showed it to me.
I'll be honest, I forget who I watch movies with, and I would have never remembered I watched it with you.
You just got to remember.
It means I was paying attention to the movie.
Yes, and that's what is most important.
You know what's funny? I think it was just me and you watching it.
It was. It was, because Lauren wasn't there.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I forgot. But yeah, I would put Moonlight above Ex Machina. But Ex Machina is great as well.
It was one of the things. I was talking to one of our buddies, and he goes, have you seen Ex Machina? And I was like, is that the one where the guy fucks the robot? He was
I mean, he's not.
I don't think he does. I mean, he probably
does.
It
depends on which guy you're talking about.
Well, one of the guys probably does.
Actually, it might be both of them. Now that I think about it.
No, there's no way.
Oscar Isaac would get pretty drunk.
No, there's no way.
I mean, definitely, yeah.
I mean, he opened the door. The new guy, you know, like he was trying to just talk to the robot, and all shit went to.
Donald Gleason was kind of a simp, wasn't he? He was a little bit of a simp.
That's what. But Dom was a little bit of a simp. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, not Oscar Isaac. No, he was an absolute Chad.
Oh, dude, well, he was a genius. I mean, like you get to the point, he's like getting drunk and he's still like playing
I really like.
chess.
Yeah, he makes the movie. Oscar Isaac makes.
Oh yeah,
makes that movie.
His character in that movie was my favorite part by far. He he chews the scenery in that film.
Yeah, he went from I think it was right after Drive too that he was in that.
Oh, probably.
I think it was because that came out in 2015, 2014.
Ex Machina, I think was 2014.
2014, yeah. Mm-hmm. So because I was trying to think, he had one film sandwiched in between. I don't know if it was Inside Llewyn Davis.
I think because that was 2012, I think.
Okay, because he had the Drive, and then it was kind of like, hey, Oscar Isaac's here, and then Inside Llewyn Davis kind of faltered, and then he came out with Ex Machina, which I think. It was well received, but it's one of those things. It's A24, so it's obviously going to fall on only like 20% of the demographics are going to see it, you know. So, yeah, no, I liked it. I've only seen it one time, but it's one of those films where there are certain scenes that stood out to me that I laughed pretty hardly at. But I just remember being at the end when him and Oscar Isaac, you know, and I don't want to give anything away with it, but just kind of getting into that little feud and being like, that guy loves that robot, and like just seeing like.
I mean, have you ever seen?
If she dropped like her drawers, he would probably have sex with that robot. Like I'm steadfast on it.
I think he's just like the personality. It's like Her. Have you seen the movie Her?
No.
With Joaquin. Okay, it's the entire movie. He's falling in love with a very sophisticated AI.
Falling in love with.
Yeah.
I mean,
falling in love doesn't mean you're gonna.
No, that's true. Well, it's his phone, so I mean, like that would have been weird. Like I don't know. I don't know the whole anatomy with the robot. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. I was like, because don't they get pretty close to kissing?
I don't remember. I don't think so, because they have to be. They are separated by that pane of glass. Like almost the entire movie.
That's what I was about to say. I thought at the very end when he was kind of like trying to help out, you know, it's pretty close to like a physical connection that he was kind of. You know, this thing's going to be a little bit more receiving, and then it, you know.
The movie was, I think, just very much about, like, loneliness and kind of characters being exploited for their loneliness.
And after talking with our buddy, I went to just look it up again, and, you know, Deus Ex Machina is a common saying where, you know, an event, what is it? Event happens that it wouldn't typically happen, or it's only put in place so that another event can happen.
Yeah, it's a common phrase. I thought it meant like, I don't know. For some reason, I thought it meant like God in the machine, but I think I might be thinking of Deus Ex Machina.
Well, we might be saying the same thing, but look from what I read on a little bit of article, and I'm not saying, you know, that's right or that's scholarly. You know, it's just from what I gathered was something along those lines.
Okay.
And
so I looked it up. I searched Ex Machina meaning in Google, and it says Deus Ex Machina, Latin, God from the machine, a person or thing that appears or is introduced into a situation suddenly and unexpectedly and provides an artificial or contrived solution to an apparently insolvable problem or insoluble difficulty, it said.
So they were talking about, from the little article I read, was he was brought into that world to help her out, because if you know, Oscar Isaac was talking about this was like the 90th iteration of the robot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she would never would have been, you know, nothing would ever happened had Dom not gone.
Right.
Simp. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm not. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say he would or would. I definitely had those vibes that he was kind of feeling the thing, but you know.
For me, on my list, I have it as number 12, so it's like a little lower.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still, you know, most of the movies on my list I enjoyed thoroughly, I would say. Like, I'm glad that I watched them. There's only like one really that I didn't get much out of, that being First Reformed, which I don't think either of you have seen.
No.
Ethan Hawke, right?
Yep, Ethan Hawke and Cedric the Entertainer's in it for a bit,
okay.
which is kind of interesting. Amanda Seyfried, she plays the major like female character in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie is like, it's got its value for sure, but like without going into like story or anything, the pacing of it sort of dragged a little too much for me. And I didn't think most, if not any, of the characters were likable. The entire time I'm watching, there wasn't really anybody for me to particularly root for. So for me, it was just a slow burn into something that I ultimately didn't care about, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I
That's
couldn't.
what it
I couldn't.
sounded like.
Yeah, I couldn't find myself being attached to anybody that I was watching.
No redeemable quality about it. Maybe just getting something from the story, but even the story, if the story itself is dry in that situation, like.
Yeah, it is a little too dry for my liking. And you know, I'm someone who doesn't mind the slow burn movies. You know, I like movies like Prisoners or Saint Maud, which is like a slow burn movie, which I have at my number 5.
Yeah, I had Saint Maud at 7, and you haven't seen Saint Maud.
I have not. You guys have seen a good selection of movies. I have
well,
not.
I mean, you got how many have you seen? So I had 16.
I have 18.
18?
I have 19.
19. So I mean, like, we do have the cross. I haven't seen Lady Bird. Lady Bird like won Best Original Screenplay, right?
Yeah.
Is that Greta Gerwig? Or was nominated?
So I think it's Greta Gerwig. Let me verify that.
It's really funny that so in my room, that's the one that it's about. It's like the behind the scenes of the movie, The Room, right?
It is Greta Gerwig.
Room is the one with
Brie
Oh no,
Larson.
that's Disaster Artist.
Yes, that is also an A24.
Yeah,
film.
okay.
Yeah.
So okay, I was totally wrong on that.
Well, you were going. I was about to say. I don't know what real. I mean,
Well, I was gonna say
guess
your
they were
bottom
kind
2
of
movies were like James Franco, but
No,
I'm wrong.
yeah, no.
Have you seen The Room? The actual original The Room?
Oh,
I've seen
yeah.
enough
So
of it to feel like I have.
when I was at Grand Valley, one of my buddies, the roommate, it was my senior year, and he was like, "You got to check out this film. It's god awful." And I was like, "It can't be that bad." It's like, "It was rated the worst film ever." And I was like, "All right, man, like let's throw it on." And it was one of those things. It got popular because it was bad. So
Yeah.
everyone talked about how bad it was together, right? And I'm
Yep.
not one that I don't, as a person, really like hopping in on the majority and knocking something down.
Yeah.
And also,
for sure.
I'm also the guy that's like something's doing great. I'll be the first to say, no, it's not. This is why. Like I don't like to fall into the mindlessness. You know, if I enjoy it, I enjoy it. So, anyways, we watched it and I didn't laugh at all. And I just remember being like, this movie is just terrible. Like I don't. And he would like
it is
you know,
terrible.
like, hey Mark, let's play catch, you know, or whatever's going on. And then he would be like, oh, that was really funny. And it's just like, no, man, it's just bad.
Yeah,
just bad.
it's one. There's a threshold
I think-
in movies where like there's like a level where they're bad, but you can laugh because you're like, oh, they're almost there, they're trying. But
Gemini, man.
like The Room, you know, for example,
Jesus.
is just bad, and it's like
Yeah.
I don't even. It's like you almost don't even want to give them credit and laugh at it because you're like, I feel it's just terrible.
I watched it and everyone, you know, my buddies laughing, and the whole time I'm just like, I feel like this guy made it like this, and this is all the marketing ploy and campaign and getting this film out because it's not very good, but they did like reverse marketing where, you know, bad publicity is still publicity, where it's just like, hey, we got everyone talking about it, we didn't put any money into this film, and we still got people to buy it. Like, that's what I'm saying. My mind just works like, how are they trying to fuck us? Like,
Well, what's interesting to me, so I haven't seen The Disaster Artist, but I did read The Disaster Artist, the book that the Disaster Artist movie is based on.
oh,
Which is written by Greg Sestero, who plays Mark in The Room.
yeah.
And it's like a first-hand account of like him meeting Tommy Wiseau and us learning his personality through Greg, because Greg narrates the entire thing.
Yes.
And it's like one half is dedicated to like him meeting Tommy Wiseau and like becoming kind of friends with him and like learning like what type of guy this guy is, how like lonely he is, how like he doesn't really know anybody, he's from a different country and he's really strange and eccentric. And then the other half of the book, which it kind of alternates between chapters, is it shows the process of making the movie, and it like jumps back and forth between it. And I don't know if the movie itself is similar to that, like the Disaster Artist movie. I don't know if it like jumps back and forth between those two types of things, or if it just goes chronologically. I don't know. I guess you can attest to that, Gideon.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, the Disaster Artist sucks?
Oh, sorry, the Disaster Artist. Sorry, I was still focused on the room for a second.
No,
and whatever that noise was back there.
No, you're good.
Was it Francine making that noise?
Maybe.
Oh,
we haven't had.
No,
any
I have not
issues with
seen
Francine.
I have not seen the Disaster Artist, the movie itself.
Oh, I thought you did.
I know. I got confused because I saw the room on there, and I forgot that the name of Disaster Artist was Disaster Artist.
Yeah.
No, I have not seen that.
Okay. So yeah,
I didn't care. Like I hated the movie that movie is about, and I know that the Disaster Artist is based on the book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, I don't care because the movie was bad.
Well, that's how it hit me too. Like everyone was
it.
talking about like the making of, and I was like, I mean, I guess maybe I've already seen it. I lived that world. Everyone when that came out was talking about it, so I don't need to go 10 years later and see, hey, this is what you missed out on. Like, no, I didn't. Everyone talked about that to me. Like,
I was gonna say,
it was popular for 2 weeks.
At the risk of sounding like an absolute hipster, I think it is one of those things that has kind of diminished in quality because so many people have like jumped on it, have like talked about it.
Yeah.
If you look up on YouTube, Room movie review, it's just saturated with video after video after video of people just ripping into the movie, saying the same thing that everybody else has already said.
Oh, yeah. We're doing that right now.
Well, we're talking about
what getting real meta.
Said, all right, we're talking about what they said. Now what we're saying about the room. We're ripping the people
Kyle's
that
dissing
ripped the
me
room.
and Mac. He's like, hey, there's so many people that keep talking about it and they don't stop.
I'm looking directly at you in the eyes right now.
Well, all right.
With this contempt in my face.
Put that knife down.
Yeah. Oh, we could do our Manhunter skit.
Our Manhunter skit.
Here, you want to do that fun list? I was going to do something about, like, what if, like...
Yeah, I do want to...
Or we could do something quick where it's like, if you have to recommend a movie on your list to someone else.
So I was going to say, I think, have we all seen a movie that... Like, so you've seen a movie we haven't seen. I think he's seen a movie me and you haven't seen, and I've seen a movie that you guys haven't seen. So, I mean, like, just say... Like, I want to find... If you could say, like, this is a movie that I'd pick, like, do that one.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm kind of...
All right. I'm looking through my list right now.
Well, I'm limited because...
Okay,
but it's got to be something that we... it's got to be both. You can't do one or the other.
Can't
That's what I'm saying.
So I can't pick Saint Maud because you watched that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm kind of curious as to, like, we've all... There's a film on there that both of us has...
Well,
I know that got...
Based on math, I think on my list and Kyle's list, there's, like, 8th grade, Bling Ring... and I think it's like those two movies. So I'm gonna say see. Oh, there might be a few more, but I mean, you didn't see 8th grade, right? Yeah.
I didn't see 8th grade. I didn't see Bling Ring. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
I didn't see Spring Breakers either.
I would, but he has. So I would say 8th grade. I would watch. You guys should watch 8th grade, and I also not because it's the last resort, but 8th grade is good.
No, I mean
you're just watching. You're just following the life of, like, I think it's a middle school girl.
Yeah,
that's and it's and some, especially 3 adult men. It's not really something that we lived and or can relate to.
Oh,
and it's real
perspective.
Yeah, and it's filmed. It's similar to, like, the Florida Project, not in a sense where it's like a day in the life. Well, it kind of is. There's a little bit more content to pay attention to and character development, but it's filmed almost in the way where the camera shots are really low. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a lot of films are shooting up. There's a lot of shots of you're just watching, like, behind her back as she's, like, walking into a situation.
Yeah.
And so you're nervous with her.
A little, like, kind of POV. I mean, a little bit.
It's great. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
So I would say that.
All right.
You don't have to watch it either, but I would just recommend it.
No, I'm saying, like, that's if you had to pick one, because I know Bling Ring's on Netflix. So if you would have said, I mean, because I'm gonna probably watch that. 8th grade's gonna make it now. I want to see it now just to see like, all right, should it be that high on Gideon's list, or, you know?
No, I haven't seen it in a long time. I think it came. When did it come out? Like a while.
2017.
Was it?
I think
it was older than that, right?
We can.
Hold on, I'm gonna check.
We're gonna verify.
You can
right
talk.
now.
Yeah, you can come up with your movie.
So for me, I guess my movie I would pick is because the only other movie that you guys either of you haven't seen on my list is First Reformed, and I'm not going to recommend First Reformed.
Well, it's your 19th one, so I mean, like, I'm glad that you're saying. I'm glad you did.
I mean, watch it if you want. You know, I'm not going to tell you to not watch it,
right.
But I'm also not going to recommend it. You know, first thing. For me, I guess I would pick Under the Silver Lake. Because neither of you have seen that, right?
No, I've seen the trailer for it, and I looked into watching it. I just haven't yet.
It is Andrew Garfield, and basic synopsis is he plays like a young 30-something who lives in LA, who's sort of disenfranchised with like the Hollywood scene, and plays a character that is a little more on like you can tell that something happened to this guy, but he's also just kind of like wading through life.
Yeah.
And the movie has a lot to offer in terms of like things to look for while you're watching it, because there's a lot of Easter eggs, there's a lot of hidden messages, a lot of different elements of foreshadowing in it that I don't think any other movie has really come that close to producing. And despite my issues with the movie, I would say it is a movie that you would benefit from rewatching, because there is so much hidden stuff in it that you can just easily miss. You know, it's kind of like along the same lines as like, there's a lot of hidden stuff in Hereditary, but imagine that times 3.
Really?
That'd be impressive, because Hereditary is flooded with
a
lot of stuff.
And it's more of like a conspiracy mystery movie, I would say, because the entire time this character is going through situations that you're wondering like, okay, how is this connected to this? Why did they introduce this element into it? That's weird. And then it doesn't come back until like the very end of the film, and you're wondering like what it all means. And it's a movie that can kind of inspire you if you enjoy it that much to look deeper into it and kind of find out what it's trying to say. I can easily see how people wouldn't like it, because it kind of goes on for a little longer than it probably should. It can almost feel purposeless at times. But overall, I think it's something that is worth checking out.
Knowing Mac and me, do you think we would like it?
I think you would like it, Gideon. I don't know about Mac.
Mac's just gonna laugh at it.
Oh, I'm curious. It's on the list. I mean, it's one of the ones I highlighted. I think like Showtime picked up a lot of A24 titles, so I was debating on doing like a free week trial and just like I'm gonna knock out as many
pump them out.
Dude,
yeah,
like if they're all on here, might as well. Like I started noticing, and that was one of them. I think that was on there, and you've talked about it before.
Yep.
You know, with the whole naked girl thing and all that. That was.
That was one of the movies that Zach walked in on a very graphic sex scene, and I was very uncomfortable.
I remember you saying.
Is there a hidden message in there?
The hidden message is that I should make sure Zach isn't home when I watch that movie. It was on Amazon Prime. Now you have to rent it from there, so I don't know if it's on any other streaming service.
Maybe I don't know. I go to IMDb and like they'll do the this is where you can stream it at, but I don't know if I trust it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay,
all right. Give us your worst. I mean, or your best, actually.
Give it to us.
Well,
Mac.
I mean, so I think I got 4 films that you guys haven't seen that's on here.
Yeah, there was a lot that you had that I hadn't seen.
So you guys haven't seen Locke?
Nope.
Mississippi Grind?
Nope.
No.
Tusk?
No, I know what Tusk is, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's the one. So
that's Justin Long, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. It's
which I haven't seen, but
that's what I'm saying. And then Slow West. Slow West was Slow West was a slow burn. Fassbender's in it.
Is Tusk as uncomfortable as what I've heard and seen?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm telling, like, I'm not a big like guy. I'm not big into torture. Like, I just don't find any, like, it's not funny. Like, obviously, I like guys getting their comeuppance, but not in the that way.
Not in an excessive way.
Yeah, and it's Kevin Smith. So I've never been a big Kevin Smith guy. I'm pretty sure he directed that, and he's done like Red State, and there was one other one that he did that's pretty, and it's not Clerks or Mallrats. Anyways, so I've kind of, that one was the one I was like, I don't know if you, like, after I talked about Killing of a Sacred Deer and being the only one that laughed, and then I was like, Tuss probably won't get the same reaction. I would actually go with Mississippi Grind for you guys.
Okay.
If I was gonna pick one, so
this sounds like a Creedence Clearwater, like an old like band or.
So the one Locke is Tom Hardy. I'll just say so. Locke is with Tom Hardy.
Oh, I've heard of that movie.
Mississippi Grind.
No,
or
Locke.
Yeah. So Locke is Tom Hardy.
As soon as you said Tom Hardy,
he's driving in a car and he's got to get to the hospital, and there's some things that have happened, and he spends the whole time in a car talking to people as he's going to the hospital for this, the thing that's happened, and it's kind of just living that 45 minutes with him. Now I think it's it's 80 minutes, but it's him kind of talking to these people in his life and explaining what's going on and fixing things and taking care of stuff, and it's just like, it's a crazy wild ride, but it's one of those things you're literally just in a car for 80 minutes. So if you like Tom Hardy, you would definitely be like, this is all, like, I love Tom Hardy, WWTHC. So I was like, this is awesome. Like, what's going on? What's happening here? And then if you don't like Tom Hardy, or you're not a big fan of sitting in a car for 80 minutes, like, you won't like this film. So really, like, at the beginning, it's like either you're on or you're off. So that's why I don't want to do the coin toss with, like, you guys are going to like this or won't like it. Mm-hmm. So Mississippi Grind. It's got Ben Mendelsohn in it. You guys know Ben Mendelsohn?
Yeah, he was in Killing Them Softly.
Yeah.
A movie that I wasn't a huge fan of.
Yeah. That's why I love Ben Mendelsohn. He's in The Dark Knight Rises. He's in, oh my God, Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah, he was.
He's got a very... Yeah. He had a lot of small roles until he got into Star Wars. But Ben Mendelsohn's in it along with Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And it's pretty much Ben Mendelsohn is a gambler, and Ryan Reynolds is also a gambler, but Ben Mendelsohn has horrible luck and Ryan Reynolds has the best of luck.
Okay.
And
I can easily see them, knowing who they are, I can see those characters being that way.
Dude, and it is like they get together, and Ryan Reynolds isn't playing like... Yeah. If Ryan Reynolds isn't playing crazy Ryan Reynolds, it's just essentially like he's almost like a drifter, and he just pops up in Ben Mendelsohn's life, and he tries to, it's just a bit like they become friends. Okay. And it's just essentially them going along. So Ryan Reynolds is funny, Mendelsohn, but it's A24, so a lot of the things that Mendelsohn does are cringeworthy. Why are you doing it? It's almost like
kind of like Uncut Gems in a way.
Yes, I was about to say it's almost like a coming of age of like Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Like if Mendelsohn could grow up to...
Baby's first Uncut Gems?
No. Ben Mendelsohn could grow up to be Adam Sandler. Like, that's where, like, you see, it's like the origin story of Uncut Gems, So it's it was fun. My brother, so I watched it with my brother, and he was like, that was all right. And I thought I really liked I liked their friendship. I liked what was going on. And the moments, the things that Mendelsohn does, the cringeworthy stuff is like realistic, cringeworthy. Like, why are you doing that? You know, like what? And it's just, and it's small potatoes, and the grand scheme of things affecting people in his lives. So that's why it's just fun. So that's the one I would recommend. I think that out of all four of the ones that you guys haven't seen, that'd probably be the best bet on ones that you would actually like watch and be like, I got something from that, or I just appreciated the relationship.
And you were saying it's like Ryan Reynolds, but he's not playing like Ryan Reynolds. Because like I know Ryan Reynolds he's got that shtick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you got like Free Guy Ryan Reynolds, like Deadpool Ryan Reynolds, right? Where it's like, I'm Ryan Reynolds, but I'm going to play Ryan Reynolds. I'm
really likable, charismatic, and funny.
Yeah, and I got quick-witted and all this. And this one, it's just really like...
It's more Green Lantern Ryan Reynolds?
No, it's literally like, probably like if you ran into Ryan Reynolds at a bar and he was just kind of tired of being Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
And he was just like, hey, man, like, what's going on? You're like, dude, you're Ryan Reynolds. He's like, yeah...
I guess.
But it's not like he's not going to hit you with like, and you're some fucking douche.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
whatever he does.
He was, and that's why I really like that too, because it was kind of like a dumbed down version of him. And I like Ryan Reynolds. Just sometimes it's like, dude, that's like way too much.
Yeah, it's always great when you watch a movie and there's an actor and they're like typecast, but you see him in like a one-off. And And I mean, like Uncut Gems, for example.
Yeah.
You're like, that's pleasant. It's which is the second time I'm mentioning it, but like Little Miss Sunshine, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He's serious. It's like a serious role, and I'm like, wow.
Jim Carrey in Eternal
Sunshine,
Spotless Mind. Like I remember watching that, and I was like, I wonder how he's gonna be. And it's just like, oh wow, he's funny. He's got his jokes, but it's a lot of just Jim Carrey. Like I'm tired of being Jim Carrey for a day. Like, I just want to be me.
It's almost like proving that they're not just a comedy actor or something silly.
I was about to say, Jude Law had one the first time I ever really thought about breaking character or being not typecast, and he was in the Black Sea, which Ben Mendelsohn's also in. Shout out Ben Mendelsohn.
What was that movie we watched? Like, I know this is not the same category, but Another Round.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Watching Mads Mikkelsen not be an art like a villain.
Oh, that's.
I mean, it's a serious movie, but it's like he's not a villain. He plays a high school teacher.
Yeah.
4 drinks a day, right? Like you can live in a
they
world
have to limit.
Had...
Yeah, they have like a limit that it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah,
I love it. But I loved watching that because like I'd seen him in Casino Royale. I'd seen him in. I can't even think of what are the names. What's that show?
He's Hannibal. In that Hannibal Lecter show.
Hannibal.
What's the one that I'm thinking about?
Charlie Countryman. He's a villain in Charlie Countryman, which is low key Shia LaBeouf.
He's the villain.
I do want that one. Yeah,
that movie is love or hate it. I mean, some people hate it. I love it. It's wonderful.
He's the villain in Chaos Walking, that new hit movie with Tom Holland.
Yep. Yeah.
I say that facetiously.
Yeah, I know. I could tell, but I'm like, those are two big names. Like, how did this get brushed under the rug?
Well, it was
Netflix film.
Long story short, development hell equals movie not good.
What?
Yeah.
Say it isn't so.
What is the one that I'm trying to think of? It's the one where he's the teacher and with the little girl.
Teacher, little girl. The Hunt.
The Hunt.
Also directed by Johan Johansson. I think that's his name.
Johan Johansson.
He's a composer.
Johansson?
Is that his name? Johan Johansson is like a composer. He did Arrival.
Who did
the music for Arrival?
Really?
Who did The Hunt?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He passed away. Rest in peace. It might be Johan Johansson, but that'd be cool.
Thomas Vinterberg. I don't know why I said Johan Johansson.
Sorry, man. No one was gonna.
Maybe
call
I was
you
thinking
out.
of Mandy.
I was on board.
The only reason I know that is because like I was a huge fan of the Arrival soundtrack, and I looked up the composer.
Hold on. Why don't you look up Arrival real quick? Hold on. Now, This is big. You're
trying to see if it's the director.
Big time now because if it is Johan Johansson,
it's Johan. It's definitely Johan. I have it on my phone.
Hold on. Is that spelled with a Y or an H?
That's true. Jace.
Yeah.
Two J's.
My man.
Johan Johansson.
That's right.
Johansson. Yeah. No. So it looks like it's phonetically pronounced differently, so I can't give it to you. Sorry about that.
Because Kyle read it a specific way.
He goes Johan Johansson, and you're like, yeah, this is a famous composer from Arrival. Like, oh, how could I forget?
And I couldn't do that if it was anyone else.
Really?
I couldn't name any movie, and I'm not going to be able to tell you the composer. But I specifically looked up Johan Johansson.
He did that in case everyone forgot you're the music guy in the group. Just so everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was throwing you a softball.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you've heard the intro and you made it this far, you should listen to the outro because the outro is such a slapper.
Oh my God, yeah. And then if you got like weddings coming up or you got anything popping that you need to have like a little vibe to, hit Gideon up.
Just listen to the podcast at your wedding.
Put on episode 4 and just play that for 2. You guys can dance to this,
right?
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is The Hunt, also directed by Thomas Vinterberg.
Mm-hmm. Close.
Dude, who did Another Round. Great movie.
Honestly, if you could probably cut the last 15 minutes out of here and like just go into Thomas Vinterberg, like The Hunt directed.
Make myself look good.
Yeah, take it all out and go Thomas Vinterberg. Yeah. So
you wanna hear a little insight into my editing process that I did for the first episode, I think. There was a point where I make a joke, but I stumble over my words, and in the editing process, I delete the part where I stumble. So
you got it down?
It sounds like I just get it the first try.
Dude, I was about to say, I can't... When I re-listen to these things, like, it sounds exactly in my head how it goes. Besides, I think episode 3, I knew there was going to be a couple cuts, and if there wasn't in the first one that, like, 30-second dead period,
gosh,
I wouldn't have known.
Episode 3 was such a shit show. I had to do so much cutting.
It was one of the funnest episodes that we've like.
It was fun.
I know this is only our fourth one, so like you get 1 to 3 to pick from. But I really
it was the best one that we've recorded and released so far.
I like how I'm talking about this like we've been doing this for years, like fondly remembering. Like nope, that literally just happened. You go.
Is this Kyle admitting though that like you guys like stumble over your words all the time? You can't speak straight, but you just spend like 3 hours in the editing room?
I was about to say this is actually a 3-hour podcast. We cut down.
Yeah, we cut down.
Yeah. There's a lot that doesn't make it.
Yeah, trust me, guys. We trimmed the fat.
Yeah, you got to do like a timestamp where it's like, all right, guys, it's 4:00. We're listening to it, and then it ends. It's like, all right, 9:30, guys, I got to go to bed.
So everyone knows where we're at.
The podcast is like an hour and 45 minutes long.
So what are we? Oh yeah, so we got a couple minutes. I do want to do this because I don't think we have to spend like a whole lot of time on it. I just had a kick out of it.
The fun list.
I was laughing, so I'm kind of curious, and I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna start from 16 and go to 1. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is, as I'm kind of going, we can interject with where you think this is at. I had a little bit of reasoning behind probably once you get into maybe the top. I'd say between 10 and 8, I get a little bit better with the reasoning.
Okay.
All right? Now from when it starts, it's just kind of like. All right, like this, no way I could do this. Okay, so we're living in a world. All right, A24 makes it over to Disney Plus.
Okay,
and we're gonna look at the most kid-friendly A24 films that we've seen. Or perhaps maybe ones that we'd want to show, so that way, it's like we're teaching a lesson. Because all of these, I think. Well, at least that's what I'm saying. Like once I get to 8 or 7, you can find a little bit of lesson or something that you could definitely teach to a kid about a certain principle in life. So now, how they go about doing it, pretty crazy. But if you just broke it down, into a simple like.
Okay, so I can understand this correctly. Are you saying like, okay, so I have the Green Knight. So are you saying that Disney Plus redoes the Green Knight as a Disney movie?
No, I'm saying it gets onto Disney Plus, and like you have your list
in its own OG form.
Yeah,
in its original form.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's like you're gonna go on here, and if you had to show like a group of kids, all right, what movie are you picking out? Because like it's like guns to your head, saying we're in an A24 film, right? Guns to your head, it's like pick out a film. And you have to defend your number one film with like, this is why I would have like show a bunch of little kids this film.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So all right, and I'll go, and that's what I'm saying. Like once I start getting into it just a little bit more, you guys let me know. Like, all right, hey, like that would get bumped down, or I'd have because I haven't seen some of your guys' films. So if you think it's got more credentials,
especially because your list, a lot of them I haven't seen, so I won't be able to have much of an input.
I would actually have to say, I think once we get there, only one of them you guys haven't seen that would be like, all right, you won't be able to talk about it. So, anyways, number 16, Spring Breakers. Like that's the last one I'm probably showing.
So
yeah, I don't think there's anything that I could pull from that film to show kids and be like, this is.
But you have to. So like, is the point you have to give an excuse?
No. So what I'm saying, like how I did it in my head was from the least amount of
kid friendly.
Yeah, I was about to. If you had to think of like gumption for a film or like
okay,
a film
we can do that.
It,
but I'm going to, for fun, I'm going to say why every movie you name should be shown to kids.
Okay, there we go. That's what I'm saying.
I think Spring Breakers is a wonderful film about 4 friends meeting new people, traveling, having a great time on vacation, and getting into a little trouble. But it's okay because as long as you stick together,
see, yeah.
I think that would be a greit's movie to show maybe like a 3rd grade class.
So you're thinking you all right? So hold on now. So the next one's Mississippi Grinds. You guys haven't seen it, so I don't think
Okay.
And
gambling. That's a tough one to teach kids.
It's a buddy duo. All right.
Okay.
So you're learning about like you said, sticking together. You're learning about developing relationships and what it means to have each other's back and go through tough times and be able to stick up for one another. All right. But it has the backdrop of gambling. Which is always
tough.
Now
that's tough
the way it's tough is that you spin it saying this is what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, it's a PSA.
This is exactly why this guy gets into trouble. Is because he's doing these things that you really shouldn't be doing.
Johnny, why are you smoking weed? It's like it's cool. You know, it's like one of those.
Yeah, but movies. It's really not, Johnny. Like gambling isn't fun. Like,
come here, Eric. We're gonna do this cool thing called hazing.
Yeah.
We're gonna burn a cigarette against your arm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, see, it's not, but that one isn't like as dark, so it's hard to because I still think that it's lighthearted. I think it's still lighthearted fun. I mean, it does have some things. But anyways,
okay.
Number 14, The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
I've never seen this movie, so this is what I'm going to say. The deer was hit by a car, and they should kill it because it shouldn't suffer.
I can defend this.
Okay.
Killing of a sacred deer teaches a valuable lesson about the importance of family and sticking together through the toughest of times.
Not bad. All right, that's pretty. I'm telling you,
That's my reason.
Okay.
Like that's why I was killing me about A24 films. Is like, boy, if you boil it down, and you could pull stuff from these things. Now they don't go about in the best light. All right, so number 13, Saint Maud.
Saint Maud is a beautiful learning opportunity about the history of one's religious beliefs.
Oh, okay. I still think it's kind of tough.
Or even better, it is an indication of what both to do and not to do with the care of a sick person.
Yeah, the pros and the cons. That's like, when you see the pamphlet.
Yeah,
it's like how to do it and then how not to do it.
The kid's in the middle with like thinking.
Yeah,
and it's like do, don't.
Yeah, choice A, choice B. What one do you select? It's like choice B. It's like, no, this is why that's wrong.
Let's watch this play out as Johnny picks choice B.
Yeah,
and it's
it's not necessarily a PSA, more of an instruction manual.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, you pull it out and you're like looking at it. All right. That's a good one. All right, number 12, Hereditary.
Ooh, okay.
I'll give that one to you.
Wait, I don't even know yet. Hereditary. Okay. That's so tough.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Okay.
Hereditary is a tale about accurately portraying the mourning of a lost family member.
No, it's
right.
it's
or have you got,
it's you can Hereditary is. It doesn't matter whether your family is here or has gone. You're still always connected to them in your heart. There's still always
No. I liked where you're going.
Kind of like no one is truly ever gone in your life. They may be passed on. Your goldfish may die.
Yeah.
But you can still speak to your goldfish, and they may speak back.
It doesn't have to really just end it. That's one when they're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" It's like, no. This is where it gets make believe.
There are mistakes along the way,
Oh my god! Yeah.
If you don't feed your hamster,
how about the
hamster will die?
Trying to explain the car scene.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying. I'm like,
that's where everyone buckles up at.
Yeah, and allergic reactions.
Oh,
like
that
too.
That definitely.
True.
This is why you carry an EpiPen.
Kids like, I love peanut butter crackers. Why can't I have them in my elementary school? It's like, well, because Cindy is allergic to nuts, and in Hereditary, she lost her head.
This is what can happen. You just pull the one scene. This is what happens.
Okay.
All right. So 11 would be Tusk. All right, so neither of you guys have seen it. So
haven't seen Tusk.
For me, it would be mainly about
the anatomy of a walrus.
Wow.
that sound. Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's mainly life choices that you make and how they impact others.
Oh, just like surface level knowledge of the movie, I was going purely biological.
No, and I picked up on that, and I appreciate it. That's what I'm saying. I would just like to. I'd like to have that image on a freaking third grade classroom on the 12-inch Panasonic. And being like, all right, and then seeing Justin Long's eyes as he's looking at you.
It's about accepting people for who they are and who they turn into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People change.
Everyone has flaws.
Yeah.
Look at that. See?
It's great.
Another shirt that we can have. Just be that with people that have flaws. Accept them.
With Tusk on it.
Oh, okay. Number 10 was Locke. Locke, obviously, you guys haven't seen. So Locke for me would just be...
if you're bored in a car,
owning your actions is exactly how I would do it.
Okay.
Owning your actions. And if you guys see it, you'll understand.
Can't really counter that too much.
Number 9 is, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, so is it Room or The Room? I don't know exactly. With Brie Larson. Have you guys seen that? Room?
I have not.
No? Okay. I'm gonna skip that. Oh my God. Well, how about this? In Slow West, I'm gonna skip too. So I don't want to deal with either of those. Slow West is Michael Fassbender, and a kid falls in love with a gal who gets kidnapped by a bunch of outlaws, and he hires an outlaw to go capture these guys to help save his love.
Is that you're explaining it to a kid?
Pretty much. Well, that's just what, dude. It's 80 minutes of that. So I mean, it's one of those films, and it's well done. It's gorgeous. It's cinematography, and it's phenomenal. All right. Anyways, Midsommar, number 7.
Midsommar. Don't do drugs.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Wow, I was going more. I was going after actually the community aspect of the film.
Respect culture is what I would go with.
See, but the
Respect
events that
people's
play
cultures.
out are almost like don't respect their culture.
Well, it's
it's about
It's a cautionary tale.
no, yeah, it's oh god, I have it right there. It's like, are you hanging out with your friends because you think they're cool, or or are you
like who really are your
are
friends
these
or
really
what?
your friends?
Mm-hmm.
If they're making you do things you don't want, like watch
Yeah.
people jump off cliffs and drink period water.
Well,
Also-
I'm gonna say the
Signs you might not be in the best relationship.
Oh,
Yes, that's true.
Wow, that is a good one. That's
Yeah.
something that you should show. Yeah, empowering young females. That'd be great for a fourth grader to see.
Oh my god. Okay. All right.
All right, number 6. So this is where if you guys got anything, you just let me know. But number 6, Uncut Gems.
Ooh.
This
Gambling cautionary tale is the first thing that comes to my mind, but I
Right.
know there's something better.
That's
it's if your dad is never home, and he's always at work, he's don't hold it against him because he's going through a lot, maybe something like
defending Sandler.
If your dad comes home and he's tired and he can't play with you, then just know that he's working to provide for you.
he's going through hoops.
He's
to
doing
provide.
everything he can to make your life better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and we cut out the call girl.
Wholesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, number 5, Good Time.
Jesus. Don't talk to strangers. That would be mine. That's
actually
it.
because the one scene, though, actually one of the scenes in that film would be the uncomfortable.
Oh my god!
Remember how uncomfortable that was?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Huh?
I know what you're talking about.
It's the one where it's in
the house.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what that would actually be a great. Just so it to hear it, stranger danger. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
No kidding.
like they have to watch the whole film, so But
Yeah,
once
yeah,
you
yeah.
get there, like this
Once
is,
you get there, the kids they
Yeah.
take that lesson right away.
oh my god, like this is why you don't open the door. All right, so that's actually so stranger danger for Good Time. That's a perfect one.
Thank you, Safdie brothers.
Yeah, so this is like we're hitting the list now. All right, number 4, Ex Machina.
Ask before you take your friend's toys, maybe something.
Yeah.
Maybe not that.
Play nice with others, and
That's true.
share. Just share your
Sure.
toys.
Yeah. All right, that's a
Sharing
good
is,
one.
sharing
And
is caring.
that one's a little bit tougher, but I thought
That is a
That
tough
is
one,
really
actually.
tough.
And I think, but that's one of the ones too that actually could go through and show a whole classroom without really being too concerned about something horrible happening. Like you're not waiting for that one part. Maybe towards that.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about visually too. I mean,
Yeah.
like you
I
preach.
kind of get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this one's kind of the opposite, but Green Room.
Green Room is
Green Room is
Always know your environment before you sign the contract.
yeah.
That's true.
Kids love that lesson.
we could probably say something about anti-Semitism, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a little bit too
On the
heavy.
too on the nose, maybe.
Well, for
Well, that's
for
how
a
they
third.
all are though.
Yeah, it's
Who's they all?
diversity.
The kids.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
diversity. It's like
You have to be.
here's Johnny taking option B and being an anti-Semite, but look at how it plays out. Or if you or it's like you shouldn't surround yourself with these people.
You know what you do actually? You could always do it like this is what happens if you like smoke weed. Like if you wanted to do the DARE program
Yeah,
and like show them
Maybe.
leading up to you're that person in Green Room and it's the guy that's like clubbing down the door.
one of the first things they do in the movie is they steal gas. So just don't steal.
Yeah. This is what happens.
true.
Dude, this is what happens when you steal. And
If
it's just
you
it goes
steal-
through that whole film of them being like
if you steal, this will happen.
Yeah. And
And
it's
maybe worse. Yeah,
maybe. Well,
it's pretty
can
bad.
it get worse?
Not really.
No, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe worse. All right. I don't even want to make that joke. The Witch, number 2.
Your family knows best.
I was gonna say something like if your parents
know best.
Yeah, if your parents say don't do something, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
They have their reason.
Listen to your parents, and don't wander off by yourself.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but honestly, the beginning events kind of just happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's a tough one. I can think of little elements,
right? Like
the lust.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a religious PSA, right?
Yeah, but they break away from the church. And then
yeah, but that's because they thought that the church wasn't strict enough, though, right?
I actually don't remember.
I think that's why they exile themselves.
Yeah, I thought they broke like a rule.
No, I think the church and them had different, like they had disagreements because I think the father said that the church wasn't following.
I want to say because I think that's what
to his liking.
Yeah, I was about to say like he didn't agree with it, and it's you get to that point where you think it's actually he's like a little bit more stricter than the church.
Yeah,
where he's just like you're not being hard enough on this person because this isn't what God would have wanted.
That's kind of what I got from it.
And I'm not going to say anything because I hardly understood anything. But like, I think that's like I kind of remember that just because like they get halfway through the film and you're like, wow, the guy's even tough. Like, he's not lying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the kids, maybe this is just open interpretation.
Listen to your parents. That's my
listen to your parents. I'll say that.
Okay, that's a good one. All right. Last but not least, Moonlight.
It's okay to be gay.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
That was
enough.
Easy.
That's why it was number one.
Everyone's on his side.
Yeah, that one. Movie. And I'm like, you could probably show that one, and there's a couple like scenes where you're like,
yeah,
maybe we can fast forward.
Legitimately though, you put like a middle schooler. A middle schooler could watch. Well, I mean, I watched Saw in middle school, so like a fifth grader.
I was gonna say,
younger kids, elementary could watch Moonlight. Moonlight
is not gonna harm middle schoolers if they watch it.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where I was kind of. I mean, I was doing it for a little. So, anyways, that's the Disney list.
Okay.
That's the one I thought was a little bit kind of fun because A24 has their own kind of craziness with their films, and I was like, how do we get this down to a PG audience?
8th grade, I think, would be great for 8th graders.
Oh yeah, no, that's too on the nose.
I guess
maybe 7th grade.
Lady Bird, I think, would be a good middle school movie.
Yeah. Lady Bird. The entire movie takes place over, I think, a year of this girl's life.
And then if you don't want to worry about kids watching or seeing nudity or violent content, just show them First Cow. They might be bored, but
if they love cows
and they like friendship.
I added First Cow to the list of movies.
So First Cow is great if you're raising a farmhand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not even that. If you
You know when you wake up, you get to sleep in, right? You don't have to work that day.
Yeah.
You wake up and your vision is like kind of blurry and it's still a little dark out. It's really cloudy and you're just super comfortable in your bed. Mm-hmm. And you look out the window and there's an overcast. Sun's not coming down. You could easily sleep another like 2 hours, even though it's already 11 o'clock. That's pretty much what First Cow is like watching that movie.
That's how you felt?
Yeah,
that doesn't sound enjoyable.
It's kind of accurate. You know, it's
wait, so it's comforting, but it's just a malaise.
It's visually and I would say sound wise too, relaxing.
Oh, so this is like something you could put on before bed, like you'd have some earbuds in.
Like if you ever want a movie to fall asleep to, I would say First Cow is like one of the first movies I would recommend.
Not like a great endorsement, but I definitely I want to see it now just to see. Like,
I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah, it is. It's not a bad movie.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's simple.
There's not a lot to it. The plot is straightforward. The characters are straightforward. And what you're seeing is what you're getting.
The acting is great, though. I think the acting is really good, especially from the cow, which is a real cow.
So we created 2 more lists. The first one is movies that you think would smell the best, and the second one is movies to fall asleep to.
Yeah, First Cow number 1.
All right.
And given cows, though, I think First Cow would smell pretty good, though. Events that happen in the movie.
Oh yeah, that movie.
Dude, I mean, like it's kind of just
that movie
like
made
wet
me hungry.
grass.
It made me sleepy and hungry.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like
Check it out.
Dude,
Check it out.
I feel like I'm like 11th grade Saturdays. Like it was right after the football game. I'm like tired. I'm like, you just get up and it's October. And
First Cow was Sunday mornings.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the judge. I'll let you guys.
Cloudy Sunday.
Hey, here's the thing. You watch whenever you watch First Cow.
Yeah.
You just tell us the time of day and the day of week that it feels like.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. Like that, you guys are talking about it, and I'm not even thinking about the movie. I'm like, all right, like, is this a Thursday afternoon, and what season am I in? So, all right, it's on the list. I mean, I think it was on Showtime or whatever. But
is this like the ending? Is there any final thoughts or something that we should say?
No, I mean, for me, I think that we've all been. Movies have been recommended.
Yeah.
I think if you get a chance, because this would be definitely something, if we increase this list to do another, what have you seen recently from A24 and how's it grayed out?
Yeah, but this can be like an every once in a while thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That I would like to do.
Absolutely. This was fantastic.
Because they're just going to keep making more movies and we're going to keep seeing more movies. So the list will be updated and they'll get longer. The episodes will get longer. And people will stop listening.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll consume your whole day.
That's right.
I know I'm a guest, but I have a sore throat and my voice keeps cracking.
That's fine.
Which is not normal.
I
know I'm a guest, but I would totally like to talk to like Mac about like some of these movies sometime. Like I'd love to talk about The Green Knight and Swiss Army Man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
And First Cow and stuff. So if you ever see one of these new ones, or if I see one of the new ones,
I'm
we
telling
can go more
you right
into
now,
detail.
once we get going on this, we'll do a couple more, and then because I think this was a fun episode too. So I mean, just to have this, even if we get to A24, if we come up with something else where we just want to get a general 15, 20 movies, leave them off, and let's just do this again because I thought this was fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode.
Cool.
Just being a part of it.
Yeah.
And I get to look forward to listening to it and cutting it and putting it out in 3 days.
Excited about that. I gotta get Twitter rocking and rolling too. I gotta commit.
Yeah. We'll get it figured out.
You have to cut out a lot. You have to cut out
not as much as episode 3.
Really? I replaced a mic.
I know, but episode 3 was
dude, you have no idea.
Such a shit show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We didn't get done with that one.
I did a good job cutting around it.
Yeah, I was about to say because I think we started at 7:15 and got done at it was 9:30 or something.
It was absurd.
Wow. I got back at 10, so I mean it was. We started and we didn't start for 15 minutes.
Yeah, because the mic broke. The screw on the mic stand broke.
Oh yeah, did you see what I did here? So I made a wing nut. I made a wing screw using a wing nut, a nut on the other side, and then a screw. It's actually it's really pristine engineering right there.
Yeah, it's pretty ingenious.
Outside the box.
Yeah. Because these wing screws are specific and they're from China, and I contacted the company that makes these and they said they could send me one. It would take 8 to 10 weeks
for a small screw.
It's kind of funny too because it breaks and I'm just me don't worry about it, dude. It's fine. You go to Home Depot, you find the dimension, you pick it up. And Kyle's like,
I went to 2 stores. I went to Lowe's and then I went to Ace Hardware. And when I got there, I was like, well, I'm just gonna make it myself. Yeah. So I made that.
That's pretty. It looks fantastic.
It turned out pretty well. I would say.
I could have just used the screw, but this way you can use your hands. You don't need a screwdriver.
That'd be good. I mean, that's how episode 3 started, and it went 15 minutes, and then it was. I think we had another 10, 15 minutes in there with the whole this thing. I don't know
the sound it was making.
Well,
I didn't. I noticed it a few times this episode, but
twice. I did.
Yeah,
twice. The one time it was kind of very clear, and the one time I think I was talking and I heard it go off, or you were talking because I was like, I can be a little louder than.
I have some ideas of possible solutions, but I'll tell you guys when it's over. I guess,
we'll figure it out. So yeah, that was episode 4. So pretty much we just went over the list because I didn't have time to watch Chopper. But next episode we will talk about Chopper. That was recommended by Mac.
Yeah. And
then I think it would also be fun to talk about Dune if we can manage to see Dune. I know I'll see Dune.
When's that come out? Do you know when it drops?
Next week Friday.
Next week Friday?
I believe so.
Okay, so I'll have a week to I might be able to see it on Saturday.
Okay, because I know I'll be seeing it on Saturday. So I'll at least have seen it, and so I can at least talk about my experience with it, even if you don't see it.
I got it.
I'm gonna see this brand new movie. I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah,
and you're just gonna have to wait
It's
and
gonna be-
listen.
I want
It's gonna
you
be
to
super
sit
one-sided.
down, sit back, and don't even think about your thoughts.
Yeah. Just listen to me talk. Man. God.
I hate being selfish sometimes. I'm sorry, Kyle.
But yeah, that's the plan for episode 5. And thank you for listening. If you liked this episode, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps out my ego quite a bit. And follow us on the Facebook page. I put some cool memes on there sometimes.
Yeah. Oh.
And then Mac, I know, is going to get the Twitter rolling.
We're working on Twatter, so
Yep,
you
that's
guys
right.
just if you hear this, follow us. What's it at Neon Poo? Neon Poo. Neon Poo. Follow us at Neon Poo.
Once again, you guys are not making yourselves sound like you smell good. You guys are gonna have to do a lot of defending.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. Check us out.
And we're on Spotify too.
That's the best place to go.
Yeah.
I love seeing it on Spotify. So.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And peace be with you. And goodbye.
Hey, see you guys.